What's going on with LinkedIn? Every time. Monitor. Excuse me. All right. Go live. Mute. Click on edit. Tertiary display. TikTok. Boop, boop, boop. All right, what are we building today? At least put up a we are going to build an agentic CRM, TikTok, TIK, TikTok Live Studio. Boop, boop, boop. Go live. Yeah, do we have everything? Image, display capture. There we go. Centered. Lock in place. Camera. Lock in place. And go live. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Oh, I gotta get my description for this. Give me one more second here. Building a CRM. I'm going to create automation inbox per month. There we go. Is it over? Yes, it is. 222. And building an agentic CRM. Copy that, put that in the title. Change the display image. Okay, all right, almost there, almost there. All the pieces are in place. We're gonna be going live. Go live, there we go. All right, get the chat up and running so we can see who is joining the chat. And then I gotta get my LinkedIn chat available, and then we're good to go. Boop, boop, boop. Welcome if you're joining in. If you're new here and you're wondering who I am, what this guy is going to be talking about, we're going to be building a CRM system, which is a thing that it's kind of sad that LinkedIn is not connecting. For some reason, LinkedIn is not connecting. I don't know what the deal is with that. All right. Put my phone on silence. All right, I think we're ready to go. Total views, real-time viewer count. Perfect. Welcome, guys. Welcome to another Friday afternoon session. We're going to be doing quite a few things today. Primarily working on scaling my application because we're getting closer and closer to launching, which I haven't really set an actual date on launch day, but we're going to be getting closer to launch day. And your stream key is now available. Set up, click. Let me just see. 1 second. Let me just prepare to go live. Pick a region, get a stream key. How do I do this so I could just give me 1 second here, guys. I'm just trying to see what's going on with my. Okay, so US North Central, get a URL. Can I fix you? Just trying to see if I could fix my LinkedIn, because I got a problem with my LinkedIn live streaming. So I'm just trying to see if I could fix that. Just bear with me for 1 second here. It might not be possible, but we're going to try. So profile, edit. Oh, it's annoying. Recording, output, preferences maybe. Destination, LinkedIn. Let's see if we could get it going. So what's the issue? What is the accounts? Some reason I cannot get my LinkedIn to go. So you know what I'm going to try to do? I'm going to try to delete it. Destination and use. Okay. So I can't delete it. Can I add a destination? LinkedIn. My profile. Just give me 1 second here. Get my login. Password. Paste. Some reason I can't get my LinkedIn going. I don't know why. North USA. Choose. Yep, that's fine. Oh, it's annoying. Okay, we're gonna have to leave it alone for today. Don't know why. You can't edit it. This is so annoying. Okay, all right. We'll just ignore the LinkedIn people for today. It keeps failing every time. Actually, let me just see if I could in the live stream get to copy the key streams below. Yes. Can I add a destination while I'm here? Can I do? Okay, one more thing. I'm just gonna try here. Just gonna try to add destination, and then if we could just do the multi-stream RTP using stream key keys. Yes. Okay. So let's just do backup, and then we're just gonna put the stream URL copy. Yes. This destination uses a persistent key. Provide login and password, usually not required. Okay, click on add. And then how do I make that actually, okay, so if I save it, will it show up in the list? Of course it won't show up in the list. Why would it show up in the list? Okay, it is what it is. We gotta go without this. Welcome, people. Sorry, I've been fighting with my streaming setup here, just trying to go get it working correctly, and it's been proven to be more difficult than I'd like to admit. What if I do stream deck? Okay, give me 1 more second here. So DCK stream yard. So annoying. Funny you popped up. I've been working on this now. Oh, great. What are you working on? Tell me more about it. Are you sending out, what kind of emails are you sending out? How many emails are you trying to send out? What kind of scale are we talking about? Mr. The Real Christopher Michael Jones. LinkedIn is such a pain in the neck to do. It's such a pain. I'm going to try one more thing here, and then if not, then we're just going to just go. You got this. Thank you. Trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out. But you know what? If it doesn't happen in 1 more minute, then we're just going to just go. We're just going to go. I promise you guys, we're not going to keep you waiting. Restream Studio, encoder from OBS. Pre-record, go live. Yes, from browser. There we go. I'm just going to paste the key in, and let's see what happens. I got literally my camera is being streamed across. Let me see if I could change it to black stream. Yeah, okay, it's coming through. Allow this time. Dwayne, yes. Enter studio. And then where do I put my keys? Go. Where's my keys? live streaming, recognition, clips, recorded. We don't need, oh my goodness. Ads, no, I don't want to do ad scenes. So I'm trying to do this in real time here. Oh, it's so annoying. GoPro, live stream. Where do I put my keys, people? Come on, come on, come on. Add channels, thank you. Yes. And we want LinkedIn. Where are you? Come on. Add a channel, LinkedIn, profile, connect. Yes. No. Wrong account. Almost there, guys. Almost there. Connect. So we're gonna go to this account, sign in. I'm telling you, it's like you need a PhD just to learn how to stream properly. And every week, it's like a new challenge. Okay, we're gonna get this. Sign in. Okay, do a security check. Yes. What are you setting up? Setting up a CRM and later lead gen for my life insurance business. Got you. So are you vibe coding it? Is that what you're going to be doing? Okay, perfect. Channel is being added. Can we go live now? Okay, so funny thing is, how do I go live and share one screen? We don't know. Okay, we're gonna figure it out. Okay, that's fine. Go live. Just wing it, and then picture in picture. We'll do picture in picture, and then can we share the screen? Yes, and allow. And we're gonna share our entire screen, and we're gonna share this. Which screen do we want to share? Screen 2, screen 3, this one here, share. Okay, yes, all right, so let's see now. Perfect. Okay, that's what we got. It's working on a different provider and a different thing, and hopefully it's working on LinkedIn, and we're just gonna pretend like it doesn't exist. So whoever talks to me on LinkedIn, go to my YouTube channel, and yeah, we can take. All right, let's see. I have Claude and Quinn helping me. Okay, that's good. Hey, thanks, Country Hits AI. That's a pretty cool name, actually. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the delay, the technical problems, and all the craziness. So you have Claude and Quinn helping you, and okay. So let me back up and ask you a couple questions. Have you used any of the other AI tools out there? Like, have you used like Instantly, Mr. The Real Christopher Michael Jones? Have you used like Instantly or any of the other platforms out there? I'm just kind of curious why you're deciding to write your own CRM tool. No, sir. Okay. What's an agentic CRM? Agentic CRM just basically means that an AI is going to be doing all of the heavy lifting, so you don't have to do all the manual work. AKA Mr. Blackman. Country Hits. Sorry, I didn't get the reference to Mr. Blackman or M. Blackman. But I'll let you tell me that. So if you haven't, did you hear about Cursor being able to demo your app for you? I actually did not hear about that. I know that Cursor has computer use right now, but I didn't hear that they could demo your app for you. That's crazy. Mr. Hashman, to answer your question, agentic CRM is a term that I don't think I coined it, but it's definitely one of the earlier. Oh, Marvin Blackman. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, hey, man. How are you doing? Good to see you, sir. I know you. I've seen you around sometimes. So, yeah. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, so an agentic CRM system is basically a CRM that allows you to do cold outreach via AI. So you don't have to do all of the grunt work. And I'll show you some real demos because I've been working on this nonstop over the last couple of weeks. And we're getting pretty close. It's not fully ready as yet, but definitely can take some early beta users right now. So one of the things that I was pretty proud of, I'll talk more in detail about it, but just to give you Mr. What's his name? Hashman, just a little overview insight. So the idea is very simple. You import all your details inside of the system, and you can then start sending out emails at scale. And you can do sort of like both manual send out, but then have the AI kind of work beside you. That's kind of the mission, so that you don't have to necessarily think about sort of all the complexities and the details. Let me just put on this privacy mode so I don't have to show a bunch of personal stuff. So that's kind of the deal. Okay, hang on. I want to go back to the real Christopher Michael Jones for a second here. So I have Claude and Quinn helping me on this. No, sorry, you haven't used a CRM before. So if you haven't used a CRM before, Mr. Claude, I really, 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 and I don't mean this in an insulting way, but I really would challenge you to try out the existing platforms that are on the market before you try to build your own. Because it turns out that a CRM system is actually really complex. There's lots of moving parts. It's not for the faint of heart. Now, that being said, I don't want to discourage you from trying to build your own CRM system. That's the reason why we vibe code stuff today. But there's some fundamental flaws in thinking that you can just vibe code a proper CRM. Now, if you just need like a glorified spreadsheet, that's one thing. But if you need something a little bit more advanced than that, then yeah, you're gonna get into some pretty hairy waters pretty soon. That's talking from experience, somebody that's actually building one right now. But I would never discourage you from building one on your own if that's what you're trying to do. But I just want to be clear, you should use an existing CRM first. So let me make some recommendations to you, Mr. The Real Christopher. So at least you have some tools that you could use. So the first one I would recommend for you, hands down, is Pipedrive. I've used them for a number of years and they're pretty solid, and it actually does a really good job, and it's pretty affordable as well too. In fact, they've been added a lot more features of lately now, so it's gotten all over the place. But see, you could even start on the light level for $14. Has calendar integration, it has pipeline management, it has real-time sales feed, and you got 500 plus integrations. Actually, let's see what are the other features. What is it missing? So it's missing email sync. For you to get email sync, you need to be on the growth plan. So that's $39 a month. Okay, pretty affordable, right? So I would suggest that you start with one of these tools. Why? Because if you're going to build your own, you need to kind of understand what are the problems that exist. So this is my first recommendation to you, Mr. DeReal, Christopher Michael. And then, and if you don't want to do that, then the other alternative, which this is a controversial suggestion in the sense that I don't like them for, they don't like scaling as a problem, but on the lower end, they're pretty good. HubSpot, HUBS, oh my goodness, HUBSPOT. So would definitely recommend that you check out HubSpot, because HubSpot is very, very good at kind of giving you all the bells and whistles that you need to actually do like fairly complex selling, especially based on the fact that you're going to be in the you're in the insurance business. Did I get that right? I said I was here for the lead gen for my life insurance business. Yes. Right. So check those two out. Highly, highly recommend that you do that before you actually get into building your own CRM, just so that at least you know what to expect. So these are the two of my favorite. The question is, why don't I use them, and why am I building out my own? And then I'm telling you not to do that. It's very simple. These tools are really, really good at allowing you to kind of like manually manage things. They're coming online now with this idea of making you do quote unquote agentic CRM stuff. So in other words, bringing AI into the platform so you can do a lot of things with AI. They got a platform called Breeze that is really good with this. So the only issue that I have with this philosophy outside of pricing and some other issue is that we're actually just kind of putting lipstick on a pig. So because AI is so revolutionary, it actually requires that you rethink these tools from the ground up. And so I'm challenging the entire industry on how they were thinking about CRM system. And that means, you can't just sort of like back away from doing, hey, Mr. Gabriel, man, how are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, so I have Claude, Quinn, and helping me. Yeah, you mentioned that already. What is the CRM system? Okay, Mr. Juicy Wet, sorry. Did you hear about Claude being able to demo? Yeah, you did answer that question. I actually didn't hear about that, which is crazy. But it'll be interesting to see what Claude do in this space. Who's using Claude and who's using Quinn? Okay, so let's chat about some stuff. Let's talk about why. You know what? Let's answer the why question, because if you don't know what, like, first of all, why would you want to build your own CRM system? There's 100 of these things on the market. I'll tell you my primary reason why, and then I'll go into some details and showcase some new stuff that I've been working on, and maybe even try to write some code. If we could get one line of code written on this live seminar today, then that's a win. Okay, hang on a second. Let me just get Claude and Gemini. Are you writing code on Claude? Yeah, Mr. Country Hits AI. This is a new name for me. I'm just, anyway, your name completely threw me off, Mr. Marvin. Did you hear of a cursor being a, yeah, okay, I read that one already. Where are all the other comments? I missed a few of them going forward. Followed by Hashman was a CRM. Okay, so let's answer the question at a high level. What's a CRM? Now, what's an agentic CRM? What's the difference? We're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're going to go a little bit more into details about some of the things that, some of the trends and capabilities that I see that are kind of relevant for building out a proper CRM. And then I'm going to show you how you can actually, or at least what's the goal in making your CRM scale to be able to send out like 1 million emails per month, which is basically what my goal is. We'll go into Miro. We'll pull up an existing board. And I'm not going to belabor this point because I think everybody else, for the most part, kind of understands what is a CRM. But just to level set, make sure that we can kind of answer some basic questions for people that don't really know. Question: when you build your CRM, where would you host it to launch it? Good question. Cloudflare, my friend. Cloudflare all the way, every day. That being said, though, it's not 100% on Cloudflare, the entire thing. The entire platform is not on Cloudflare because that would just be crazy. But the let's call it the front end is on Cloudflare, the back end is on Azure, Postgres, CosmoDB, and a few other pieces. But it's kind of a mixture. I'm using the best of both worlds. So I'll actually answer that question in depth if you stick around. And then how do you know it's working properly? You got to test, my friend. You got to test. So let's start with the basics to make sure that everybody, just a level set, because I don't want to assume everybody knows what it is. So what is an Agentic Gentic CRM? Agentic CRM. Okay. Just going to do a quick 1 minute on this one, and then we're going to move on to some stuff. Okay. So we'll talk about that. We're going to basically talk about, so what's the difference? So difference between with traditional CRM, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll talk about, well, if you're building one, because we got a couple of people here that's actually trying to build one, but they've never really used a CRM system. Very bold. How to build your own. Right? Does that sound like a good, at least, start point? And then I'll tell you more specifically about how to what I'm doing. Let's put that in there. What I'm doing with Lead Score AI, which is my own CRM system. Okay, let's tackle these topics, and then we'll see where the chat goes, and then kind of go from there. All right. CRM system at a very, very high level system. So yeah, listen, let's just not make things too fancy. Okay. A CRM system is a spreadsheet. Okay. Like it doesn't get any more simple than that. Get a spreadsheet, put a bunch of details inside of it, call it the day. That's your CRM system. You're done. You don't need to know any single thing else. Okay. What do? You put first name. Okay. It doesn't get any more simpler than this. Last name, okay, email, phone, website, okay, that's it. What other status you're gonna need? Called, right? When did I call the person? Emailed, and maybe follow up. Okay, that's your CRM system. Let me make it bigger so people could see it. Okay, I just want to be clear with this. Like, you know, people overcomplicate things, especially technical people, including myself. We're guilty of this. All right, and we make things really hard for ourselves. It doesn't have to be complicated, guys. I just want to be clear with this. Okay, it doesn't matter the tool that you're using. It matters the execution, and it matters that you actually just sit and just get the damn thing done, aka get off your ass and get some work done. Okay, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna put in the name of the person, Dwayne Brown. Okay, you're gonna put in their email. You're gonna put their phone number, obviously. You're gonna put the website. Okay, instead of psui.io. Okay, and then if you call that person, you just say yes. That's it. You pick up your cell phone, call the number. When you finish with the call, you hang up, and then you say called. And then you send out an email to that person. And when you email them, you say yes. Okay. And then when you follow up with that person a week or two later, you say yes. Okay. Now the follow up is where the game really begins. So let's talk about that. All right. If you follow up with them on day one, DY, okay. Nobody really responds to you. You're probably going to get a voicemail, so you have to follow up depending on the cadence and how thing the business is. Follow up day 3. So in other words, 3 days later. Okay, and then you say yes. Follow up with them day 3. All right. Now, if you follow up with them day 3 and then you don't get a single thing, follow up with them day 7. Okay. If you notice what I'm doing, I'm just kind of extending the life of how long. Let's say day 5. Okay, day 5, and you keep doing that. So maybe I don't do day follow up day 5. I might do, let's say, let's go with 2 weeks from now. So day 14. Okay, that's the game. That's literally the game. Okay, do this for 100 times over every single day, and you will get business. Period. All right, that's an agentic system. Well, it's not. It's a CRM system, but this is like the poor man's version of a CRM system, and this works. I want to be clear with this, guys. This works. Why does it work? Because the game is not in the tool. The game is in the process, the consistency, the like determination that you're gonna go through every single lead until you find your, a client or somebody that's interested. So CRM basics. All right. Question. When you build, okay, we're going to talk about that question, Mr. Jess. I'm going to answer that question for you. Question about when you build your CRM, where do you build it? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to answer all the questions around that. How do you know it's going to work? I'm also going to answer that question and how it knows that it's going to work properly, Mr. Eli. I won't forget you. In fact, let me just make a note of that so I don't actually, let me just take a screenshot. It'll be easier so I don't forget the questions. Okay. And then I'm going to answer every one of those questions individually. Right. So, and why do you choose C# for backend instead of JavaScript base? I don't. I use what's best. Okay. My native language is JavaScript. My native language is C#. So that's what I do on the backend because I do all business logic in C#. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say I don't trust JavaScript to do my business logic. That being said, I'm not telling you that you cannot do business logic. You could do enormous amount of business logic in front end stuff. It's just that C# allows me to kind of, in the programming world, be type safe, and this guarantees that I don't have sort of these kind of breaking changes, etc. That's not 100% true, but take that with a grain of salt. That being said, though, I know JavaScript, you could do TypeScript. We use TypeScript. We got tons of business logic in front end for JavaScript, but I don't believe in putting my business logic in. Why is I don't know why I'm getting a call from. Hang on a second. Okay, whatever. So that's basically the reason, Mr. Blue Lagoon. But I'll answer that question a little bit more in depth. And then, which CRM system is best and easy to deal with? Okay, so I answered that question before, so I'm going to give you these two. Pipedrive is your biggest pick, $14 a month. Or if you want to go up a little bit more, $39 a month will give you every single thing that you need. Use it, okay? Just use it. It's really, really good system. I've done, when I say I've gone through them, I've gone through them. Okay, Pipedrive, HubSpot, Freshdesk, Fresh CRM. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting all the names now. Salesforce. What's the other one? Jeez. Sugar CRM, like you name it, probably the top 5 ones I've done. Infusionsoft, like I could keep going on and on and on. Okay, been there, done that. Pipedrive is by far one of the better products on the market, and HubSpot is also really good. In fact, HubSpot would probably be my default based on based on the fact that the integration with some of their other pieces is actually pretty good. Why I wouldn't use HubSpot for the things that I'm doing right now is because see here, HubSpot only allows me to put in 10,000 contacts or 10,000 HubSpot, sorry, 10,000 contacts in the system. That is nowhere near, if you notice my line somewhere here says, I want to send out 1,000,000 emails per month. HubSpot will not allow me to scale to this level unless I'm paying them $1 bajillion. I don't want to pay HubSpot $1 bajillion, so I'm building my own. But for you, if you got less than 10,000 leads, HubSpot is perfectly fine. If you have, I don't know what's the limit on Pipedrive, but I don't think it would probably be around that. And by the way, these are soft limits. If you're paying more, they'll extend it for you. But that's kind of like what they do at that tier. Sorry, let me just get through the questions and then we'll move forward here. C# is like Java. It gives you full control. 100%. Yes. Do you do one or do you do one-on-one, Mr. Jess? I do. Join my school community. So go here, dwayne.me//school. Join it for free. You could go through some of my thing and then you could book a call with me and then we could talk a little bit more. Right? And then I'll see your case and then we'll figure things out from there. As far as database, are you using Superbase? No, I am not. Why? It doesn't scale to what I'm trying to do. Without charging me $1 Brazilian. So Superbase is great. I do have some projects on Superbase, but it's not my primary go-to database for any single thing at this kind of scale. I'll just be charged too much. How do you find leads to send to emails? Great question, Mr. Whole Lotta Ted. Whole Lotta Ted. So to find leads, there's a couple of ways to do it. The simplest and the easiest thing is, depending on the type of market that you're going after, go to Yellow Pages. I know people are like, oh, Yellow Pages, they're still around. Yes, they still are. And you know what? They got tons of leads on there. Literally. No, hang on. You got to go to the Yellow Page section, right? People underestimate the Yellow Page. You can still find pretty good, for example, dentists, lawyers, medical, car. If you're trying to sell to any of these people, all the leads are on there. Phone number, the whole 9 yards. Literally just go do that. Okay. When you get a little more sophisticated, go on Fiverr, find a guy that'll just scrape the whole damn thing for you. Okay. That's the simplest way to go find some leads. Every city has an online, almost every city has an online directory. So I'm in, well, technically Toronto. So Toronto business directory that you could purchase. Okay, they sell them sometimes. So you can actually do that. Excuse me. If you really want to get a little more fancy, go to Apollo. Apollo is half decent. It's not the best, but it's half decent at a fairly approachable price. What is Apollo? Apollo is technically a CRM system also. Okay. Apollo is okay. The problem with it is they have a lot of crappy leads inside of there. This is just coming from my personal experience with the market that I've gone after. So, however, they're pretty good, and you could start for pretty good. So this is where I'd probably start if you don't want to go through the hassle of like trying to figure out how to extract all that data and put it into the tool. That's where I would go to at least start finding some leads. All right, moving forward. Sorry, I got to try to get through the questions, then we're going to continue. What's the advantage of Cloudflare D1 over Superbase, etc.? Cloudflare D1 is not a replacement for Superbase. So don't ever get it twisted, okay? You're not gonna get the scale with Cloudflare D1 as you would with Superbase. That being said though, Cloudflare will allow you to spin up, I think 50,000, 500,000, whichever the number, 50 or 50, whatever, it's a big number, of databases on Cloudflare D1. It's not designed to throw all of your application data in one database. It's extremely good at building out a system that's globally distributed where you just need isolated data for a specific region. So for example, you might have 3 or 4 people using one database in, let's say, Asia, and another 3 or 4 people using another database in the US. So it's really good for that kind of stuff. However, it's not going to be the central place for all your customer data if you're dealing with scale. Now, that being said, if you're not dealing with scale and you're just starting out, Cloudflare D1 is perfectly fine because you can scale it up to, let me get the real numbers for you. Let me get the real numbers for you because I'm forgetting the actual numbers itself. How much scale can I do with a Cloudflare D1 database? One single D1 database. And then what would be the cost versus Superbase, just so we can just get this thing to rest. But the bottom line is that's what you would do. You would, like, Cloudflare D1 is extremely good at that. So what I do, this is what I'm doing right now, is all of my vibe coded projects that are brand new, I use Cloudflare D1 because it's $5 per month. I can spin up 50,000 of them or however many. Okay. So in other words, I could build 50,000 applications for $5 a month, and I could scale that up to probably about 100,000 sort of like data in one of those databases. This is a rough guess. You'll get a real number in a bit. And then from there, I could push it into a real database. Okay, so that would be the reason why I would use a D1 database. And I'll explain to you, based on the fact that the topic is CRM today, how I'm using Cloudflare D1 database on the backend to build my agentic CRM system. I scrape Google Maps, then get like 100 domains, then put them into any mail finder to find cold email. This is a great idea. This is actually a really good way to do it. Scraping the entire, scraping the list does a Python scraper really well. Yes, just be careful, guys, because you could block your IP address. So you want to be careful. You probably want to use one of these proxy tools that will allow you to kind of do scraping a little bit if you're doing it on your own. Okay, what are those tools? Let's find it. Productivity, where is it? Complementary leads, here we go. So you can do, okay, actually, let me answer a couple more questions around the scraping because people have a thing about this. So where do I go for scraping? I normally, you could by far one of the best tools that I have right now for, not for scraping, but for getting leads is Ocean.io. Really good tool, by the way. Fantastic, really good source for getting absolutely killer details about thing. Now they just changed this whole thing here. So Ocean.io is really, really good. And then I want to find you guys and then we'll continue the conversation. Leads. So sorry, scraping here. So you can use something like there's a ton of these guys. I'm just going to give you one of them that I have in my arsenal here. But so it's these guys are called so SERP scraping. So essentially what it means. So basically this idea about scraping sort of like Google Maps and all that type of stuff to get things. These guys will do it at scale, and what they'll do is allow you to cloak your hide your IP address. So in other words, it's not using your computer to do it. It's basically doing a lot of things. So you see here, you can do a Google search, then query this stuff, get the details, and then basically extract the information from it. And it'll do it at scale, at pretty decent pricing as well too. So highly recommend. You could basically just do if you Google SERP, scraper API, that would be a way to do it. And see here, scraping Google, Amazon, Bing, all this type of stuff. That would be a way to do it. So I use Apify. Apify is also fantastic. Apify is actually really good. APIFY. And these guys, like, in fact, actually, if you really want to know where to go find scrapers, this is the place to go for sure. Because Apify, you don't have to think about it. You just basically say, hey, I want to scrape. See here, I got TikTok scraper, Instagram scraper, Facebook scrapers, the whole 9 yards, and they'll think. The downside to this is that you'll get the list and you get what you get, and then you have to have a process to clean it up, which is what my system kind of talks about. Do you have a list of these tools? Good question. I am putting together a list, and it's in my system right now. So it's in my get lead score. But if you message me, I could get you a list. I'll actually try to put together things. So hang on. Why am I allowing here? Lead. So one of the things that I'm working on in my system is you can go to research, and there's find leads here. And basically I have all the major sources of where to find leads. Apollo, Zoom Info is actually pretty good, even though it's expensive, but there's a free tier of Zoom Info. If you give them some information, they'll give you information. It's kind of a pretty good way. But most accurate, by the way, most accurate. Like they were considered the top leader in the space for this type of stuff. I mentioned Apollo before, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Clearbit is also pretty good, Hunter.io is pretty good. These are basically cleanup tools. Actually, I forgot, Clearbit got bought over by HubSpot. Don't use them anymore. They're just, yeah. Okay. Do you have a list of tools or Vaughn, a blog? Yeah, no, I actually don't have that, but I'll get you some answers, Mr. Vaughn. I actually don't have a blog on this. I've just been gathering and learning this stuff as I go, and I should do a better job of like putting it into one centralized source. I just haven't done that. But join my community, and I'm gonna actually I'll create a source. In fact, I'll make a note of that. I'll create a source of places that you could go find in leads, and I'll tell you all my experience about it. Lead sources. Hang on. Let me just make a note of that so I don't forget, because I want to do this. I've been trying to find some topics to put in there. Community. ITY lead source. Right. Okay. Let's jump back on topic, shall we? All right. So you guys got lots of questions, but I want to make sure that we cover the basics. So what are we talking about? Just for the new people, just make sure that everybody's on track. I'm going to answer what is an Agentic CRM system. We're going to talk about the difference between a traditional CRM and a more mainstream sort of an agentic CRM. We're going to talk about how to build your own, and then I'm going to show you my application and what I'm doing with it. Along the way, you guys ask your questions, and we're going to try to address them. Okay, so as I told you guys before, and I mentioned this is a CRM system. It's an Excel spreadsheet. I'm just basically making my, I got my leads here, okay? And all I'm doing is just basically keeping a track of all the names of people that I want to call, their phone number, their website, and just doing a follow-up. It's that simple, guys. Don't complicate this stuff, okay? If you're just starting out, okay? Use a tool like Applify, and use a tool like Ocean.io, which by far is one of the best tools. So what does Ocean.io do that the other tools don't do? Let's say you want to look up for company like let me see if I could find a company that would make sense. Let me do let me try to find a manufacturing company, something that I could like really manufacturer, manufacturing. I don't know. Let's say heavy metals. VYMETLS. I don't even know what that is, but I'm just trying to find a random company that's like I don't know, just to kind of show you what it does. Oh, manufacturing heavy metal. Okay, here. Okay, this is a website. This is a company. Okay, whatever these guys do, I don't know. They do. Welcome to NAI, whatever that is, heavy machinery. Okay, so they do heavy machinery stuff. So, where is this? Is this in? Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, I thought this is in some other place. Okay, so you go to Ocean.io. You basically paste the domain name, and you do this. It'll show you the company, so it'll pull up the company, and then from there, this is the thing. What makes Ocean.io really powerful is that it shows you lookalike matching companies. So it basically goes through and it finds all the companies that are of similar size, that are in similar industries, that you could just then pull a list from. Really, really fantastic tool, because if you know one customer, you can go find the other customers. What's vibe coding? Vibe coding is basically using AI to write your code. So as we speak, I have my code. Well, actually, technically I don't, because I restarted my computer. But as we speak, we're going to be writing some code, and I won't have to write a single line of code because AI is doing the work. That's what vibe coding is. So, but yes, use Ocean.io. Really, really good. If you want like proper industry standard set of information, Ocean.io is fantastic for that. Good afternoon. Hello, how are you doing, sir? Mr. AOL 2116. Good to see you. Mr. Ting, but the constraint is that the data needs to populate the flow, right? Rephrase that for me. But the constraint is that the data needs to populate the flow, right? Not certain what I mean by the flow, right? It's kind of you were asking me if you need to populate the data. You mean are you talking about like for Ocean.io? I just missed the context in which you're talking about. Repeat that for me, and I'll get you a question answer. So anyway, why? So yes, so I going back to this fundamental topic here. You can build a CRM doing this. What's the problem? Why don't you want to do this? If you're just starting out and you're trying to hit like 100 people to see if you could sell your product, do this. Don't complicate it. You never use a CRM system. Just do this, okay? I will not tell you any single thing otherwise because it's super important that you just understand the basics. Good. Now, why would you not use this over and over and over again? Okay, the real reason why you won't use this over and over is because these tools don't do a good job of keeping history of information. When did you do it? When did you call? When did you follow up? Now you could start putting more, sheets on this tool. Like you could create another sheet and you can put some more information. But the problem is it gets messy really fast. If you're like talking more than 100 or 200 or 300 thing, the truth is you can build a pretty complex system with Excel. It's just that it's just not the ideal tool, right? So a tool like Pipedrive, this is where they come in. Let me see if my login actually works. I don't actually have any, I think, let's see. No, can I do a forget password? Let me see if it actually, no. Okay, you know what? We'll try to sign up with their, let's see if we do this. Yes, because they're just going to force me to sign up. CEO, and then I can at least show you some usage. Take phone number, of course. Okay, hang on a second. I don't want to put my real phone number in here. We'll just put a fake phone number for now. Just put a fake phone number. Get helpful tips. No, actually, I don't want to get any of that stuff. This one is optional. Yeah, they really okay. Hang on. Dwayne Brown. Are you, oh my goodness, come on. Let's go. 2 to 5. How big is your company? Okay. All right, so it's creating an account. We'll go through it in a sec. The reason why I want to show you Pipedrive is because it's actually a tool that I would actually recommend. If you're just starting out, this is definitely a tool that I would recommend. So how does it work? Why is it good? Go away. This is, by the way, I'm not affiliated by them in any single way. Okay, get away, go away. All right, so sample data, there's 2 sample data inside of there. So what is good about Pipedrive? The first thing is that as you start, so if you notice, first of all, it's no different from my spreadsheet. I got a spreadsheet here, and let me just go back to the pipe. Where did I put it? Jeez, too many tabs already open. Let's close down some tabs, shall we? Scenario decode. Yeah, where is that? Okay, here. All right, here we go. Yes. All right, so put these 2 together so I don't get confused. Yes. So this is my Excel. This is my Pipedrive. Same thing. All right. I have a set of contacts. I got name, organization, email, phone number, close. Okay. Same thing with my Excel spreadsheet. I got name, phone number, email, close. So, okay. So what's the difference? The difference is that I could click into any one of these names and I could do more active. So see, I could put here and I could say I called person. I could basically put in a note about it. All it's doing is just allowing me to just extend the information that I have about that contact. That's all a CRM system is. It's literally an Excel spreadsheet on steroids. That's it. Okay. So this people have been doing all day long. I could put some notes inside here. I could say, yeah, called Benjamin Leon last week. He was definitely interested in the application. We just want to talk a little bit more details and get some pricing before you actually go ahead. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, but again, I'm level setting for the entry level people that don't really know this stuff, or one person said they're building one of these. So this is good. Use this all day long, and it will do exactly what you need to get done. And here, then you could create a deal, and you can keep track of your deal pipeline. I'm not trying to give you a course on how to use this tool, but it's a really good tool, and it does the job really well. You can keep track of calls, you can keep track of emails, you can keep track of documents. Everything, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so and then it even has, now they have ability, these are things that I didn't have before, but you can keep track of your live chats on your website, or you could do a web form on your website. You could do all this stuff and it just integrates in here. You got integration with LinkedIn, so you'll pull all that details in, then it'll give you sort of a summary of things. This is the reason why you use a CRM system, because it just basically helps you to kind of keep this platform is called Pipedrive, sir. pipedrive.com. Okay, go use them. It's really good. It's fantastic. Okay. I will not be angry or upset with you if you don't have a CRM system and it's cheap. All right. It's better than using an Excel spreadsheet for 16 bucks a month. Can't go wrong with it. Okay. And you can grow into it and it scales really well. I know really large companies. In fact, the company that introduced me to it, they had raised, it was one of my mentors, he'd raised $20 million just using this tool. Okay. So it's good. And then what makes it really good is that it has this pipeline board. See here? So these are the deals, and you could just drag and drop and keep track of all the deals, etc. as you go forward. And then you could just keep track of the details for the deal. Fantastic tool. Cannot go wrong with it. Okay. I won't go into HubSpot, but HubSpot is similar to this tool. So just jumping back to a real thing. Okay. So that's considered really a traditional CRM. Okay. What I just showed you guys before is a traditional CRM. Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about like why I kind of got this in reverse, but let's talk about why traditional CRM systems don't really work in today's modern era with you use Airtable. Yeah, Airtable is pretty good as well too. Airtable is a really good tool. It's more of a generic type of tool. It's just a better version of Google Docs. Google Sheets. Yeah, but if you're kind of like doing stuff, Airtable is pretty good. In fact, Monday.com is really Airtable is really good, at least allowing you to kind of set up all the custom spreadsheet type of formats and columns in a way that would make sense for you to be able to keep track of things. Fantastic tool, highly recommend it, really good, right? But they all sit under the line of a CRM system. Okay, so we are now moving into a world where as I said, the traditional CRM, which is what I just showed you as Pipedrive, it's kind of falling apart. And what I mean by falling apart is that if you have to do any single thing, if one person has to like reach out to, I'm going to make up a number here, let's say 5,000 contacts, there's a lot of clicking, right? If you have to make 5,000 calls and put 5,000 notes and then put 5,000 tasks on when you should follow up next with that person and when you should send the next email and when you should reach out to them next, it's just a lot of work. Okay, but that's how we've been doing it for probably the last 20 years. It's just what we know because you have the software, you input all the information, and you just manually just basically say, oh, I just spoke to Benjamin. I need to call Benjamin next week. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put a calendar invite for next week, and I'm going to put the date for next week, and then I'm going to set the priority, and I'm going to say hi, and then I'm going to put a save button here. I'm going to save it so that I know next week I need to call Benjamin. Okay, that's what a traditional CRM is. The problem with that flow is that it just is time consuming, and as the meme goes, ain't nobody got time for that. All right, so this is where Agentic CRM comes into the rescue. All right, so let me give you the simplest, basic, most primitive version of an Agentic CRM system. You know what I didn't check? I didn't check if my LinkedIn actually is doing sound. That's so funny. Hang on a second. Let me just double check that it's actually sound coming through. Oh, wait, hang on. You know what? I don't even think it's oh my goodness. I don't even think it's streaming because you're supposed to go live. Oh my goodness. Yeah, didn't I do? Oh man, so stupid. Okay, whatever. We just abandoned LinkedIn today. We don't care. It's fine. It was supposed to go live. Waited for broadcast. Oh my goodness. Prepare to go live. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Pick a region. Oh my god. Never mind. Just ignore LinkedIn for now. We'll just put the recording up there. Sorry. I thought I was just by pushing live here that I was going, but I'm not. So I'm just gonna just kill this resource so it doesn't. Yeah, whatever. Okay, sorry, got distracted there for a second. Where was I? So Agentic CRM system. Why would you want to use an Agentic CRM system versus a traditional CRM system? That's the question. All right. Well, as I mentioned, if you have to send out 5,000 messages to 5,000 different people and you have to do follow-ups and put that in your calendar to 5,000 different people, it just becomes extremely time consuming to get all this stuff done. And as I said, ain't nobody got time for that. All right. So Agentic CRM system, and again, this is a brand new concept based on all the capabilities of AI. So I'm just giving you at a very high level. Everybody's going to have their own different explanation and understanding of what an Agentic CRM system is. But let me give you a real world scenario. I pick up the phone. I call, go back to the pipe drive. I call Benjamin. Okay. I say, hey, Benjamin, how's it going, man? We talked last month and had a really good conversation. I don't know if you remember me. My name is Dwayne. Just wanted to just remind you that we do software for, businesses looking for custom software, something like that, right? And Benjamin's like, oh yeah, but yeah, I'm not really interested in chatting right now, based because we got, tax season coming around, and we just got a lot of work right now. So, but you know what? Check me back after tax season in the next couple months, and we could probably have a chat. Great. I hang up the phone with Benjamin, and I say, no problem. I'll connect with you then. Instead of me having to come into the CRM system and manually put a date in the future of when I have to call Benjamin again, and manually send out a follow-up email, and manually put a task reminder for myself to call Benjamin in the future, the Agentic CRM system will just take care of all that. So the first thing it's going to do is going to take a recording of the call. That's number one. The second thing that it's going to do is it's going to transcribe the audio and then summarize the audio conversation. That's number two. After it does that, it's going to come up with a to-do list of the things that needs to be done for Benjamin. Then it's going to create a task reminder to remind me in 2 months' time about this particular conversation that I had. And it will automatically schedule an email to follow up with Benjamin in 2 months' time. And on top of that, it will basically maybe put a calendar invite or something. Okay. You could even go so far as to have it schedule a call to call Benjamin in 2 months' time on your behalf. That's the difference between having a traditional CRM system versus having a agentic CRM system. Okay, it's the agentic CRM system is just think of it as your assistant. Agentic CRM versus traditional CRM. Okay, think of an agentic CRM be acting more like an assistant. And the reason why you can do that is because we're at a point where AI is getting so good that it can carry out a lot of the tasks for you, right? Now, Claude is doing that right now, right? There's Claude Work for Claude, C-L-A-U-D-E, Claude Workspace. Okay, that has something that you could now do agents. Oh, I don't want to do the API. I just want to do where's the Cloud Workspace? Introduction to Cloud Workspace. Okay, so get started with Cloud Workspace, which is basically the desktop implementation that allows you to, I'm saying Workspace, Cloud Co-work, right? What does it do? It allows you can use your phone and talk through it and have it basically send out messages and book calendar invites and whatever. This is a great concept, and this concept makes sense based on OpenClaw and some other stuff, but it still doesn't get you to where I want to be, which is having a CRM system do all of the CRM work for you, right? It's very, very narrowed sort of focus. So an agentic CRM system is really just a narrowed version of what Cloud Coworker would do for you, right? Think of it that way if you're familiar with Cloud Coworker. All right. Hopefully that kind of gives you some perspective on what's the difference, because it's super important, because if you don't understand the difference, you're like, oh, well, it's just a CRM system. No, it's literally a completely different way of thinking about an entire CRM system. So let me see if I could give a real world example. So in my case, I have I have my CRM system. I'm gonna go just make a fake call to myself here, for example, here. Okay. And when I pick up the phone and dial my number, which is just going to call myself right now, what it's going to do, so first it'll ring on my side, on my cell phone here. I'm going to pick it up, and I'm just going to pretend like I'm talking. Oh, went to voicemail, of course. So fine, whatever. Okay, so let's pretend I'm having a conversation with the client. I hang up the call. The minute I hang up the call, it gives me an option what it was the outcome of the call. I'm going to say that I had a conversation with the gatekeeper. And then instantly, if I press it here, it says send custom email. It knows what to do. It just sends an email to the person. right? Actually, in this particular case, it's giving me a prompt because I have it as, it doesn't matter the detail. The point is, it's giving me an option so I could just basically send out that email very quickly. I could choose a template, and then I could just press on the send button. And that's it, right? And I can move on to my next call. I don't have to think about the details of the engagement, the conversation, or whatever, because what the AI has done, if it actually was a live call, is that it listened to the call, it understood the context, it knows the templates that I have, and then based on the template that I choose, it will basically write a proper custom email based on the outcome of the call so that I could send out. And the other option is it could just do it automatically. I'm showing you guys this because I'm trying to show you the manual implementation of it, but the system can just do it automatically. All right. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense between the difference between these two. Now you guys had some questions for me, so I want to go back to this one here so we could kind of answer on the technical side, because this is a technical / business conversation. Always we mix business and technical here in case you're new. All right. So what platform is this? Yeah, I answered that question already. Where was I? I wanted to pull up the questions that some people asked earlier, so I don't pull it over here for a second, and then geez, where was the oh my goodness. Now am I gonna lose the questions? Hang on, date added. Okay, hang on. Let me scroll up for a second here just to kind of see. Right. Disadvantage Cloudflare, we did that one already. What are you using for database? Not super base wide cheap. Okay, let's answer some of the technical stuff because we gotta appease both people here, both the technical and the business people. All right. So now that we kind of got a difference between thing, I'll answer the question. So I'll just how to build your own. Okay, it's basically the thing. Let's start with that. If I were to build my own CRM system, again, will not recommend it because there's tons of tools out there that you could just pay 19 or 20 bucks a month and you could just get all of these stuff. So the question is, why would you want to build your own CRM system? The biggest answer that I have is if you want to do real scale. And the truth is, if you're doing real scale, you need to, sorry, let me just see what, I just hit the limit of some things. Let me just see what it is. Streaming to Dwayne Brown stopped. This could be to which Dwayne Brown? Continue without. So let me just see. I just want to see which. Oh, Instagram. Yeah, I don't know why it's, yeah, these damn tools. Cutting my flow, man. Cutting my flow. Right. Okay. So, why would you build your own CRM system? You have to have a really good reason to build a CRM system. Okay, like you need to, like, why build your own? Right? It kind of boils down to a couple things. Normally, large companies will build their own CRM system because they already have a pretty good process. If you're just starting out, do not build your own CRM system, right? It's just that your process is just really unique. So, internal process. Okay. Why build your own? Why build your own? Okay. Your internal process is just so unique that you just, it's just, you know, you need like special integration, custom integration with some tool that's right, some tool that's sort of on the market that I'm back. I had a call. Hey, Founder IQ app, good to see you, man. Welcome back. So so that's the reason why you would build your own CRM system, right? Internal process, custom integration, and if I could think of another one, it would probably be some sort of like, bro, use Excel Draw to explain. Yeah, you know what? I have Excel Draw. I normally use it sometimes, and then think, but I don't have the paid version. I kind of run out of EX. I've been trying to cut down my subscription. I can't forget. I forgot the spelling of it. I have it somewhere in there. Anyway, it's a great tool. I use it all the time. I started using Miro, and it just yeah, there are 100 of these things. What was I going to tell you? Right. So why build your own CRM system? Internal process, custom integration. Probably the other biggest thing that I could think of is actually here. Let's do. Why am I racking my brain on this? This is a ChatGPT question. Why would I build my own CRM system? So while that answer is kind of coming, the point is you build your own CRM system. just so that you could have more customization, decide what kind of CRM, personal teams, scalability, etc. Start with core leads, content, blah, 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 your first vision, blah, blah, blah. One company has many deals, blah, 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 map the real world. No, I want to know, give me the pros and cons as to why I would build my own versus using off the shelf. So the point is that you, off the shelf, my friend. What is after shelf? Okay, figure it out. Can you figure it out? Yes, okay. By after shelf, you mean off the shelf. Yes, thank you. So why would you do it? Your sales motion is unusual, right? Which is it's sales, so it's not really, it can't be that unusual. You want AI deeply embedded into your, yes, there we go. You need custom pipeline logic. That would be the sort of the primary, which we talked about already. And you want your CRM tied directly to your outreach engine, cold outreach system. You plan to sell the CRM itself, so thing, which is the one that I'm kind of working on, right? There's not much else other than that. So the other one I would probably think is you want deep integration with AI. That's probably the thing. And the truth is, all the other tools are kind of catching up, right? I would probably put cost in here. So I'd put cost, but this is only at scale. So I just want to put an asterisk there, at scale. Okay. Don't do this if you're starting out, SCALE. All right. And then sure, we'll put AI in, deep into AI integration, which is a new reason on block. Okay, so these are kind of the reasons why you would want to build your own CRM, and that's the reason why I'm building my own CRM. But it's hyper focused on cost and scale. Okay, I know exactly how to build a scalable system because I've been doing this for a while, and I could do it significantly cheaper than any single thing that I could find in the market at the scale in which I'm trying to build it at, which is to translate 1 million emails outreach per month. That's the goal. All right. My standard is that a one sales rep should be able to manage 100,000 leads without breaking a sweat. That is my line. That's what I'm sticking to. That is my goal. These are very ambitious goals. Okay. I believe that AI can do that today. So that's the reason why you would build your own. Okay. Now, in terms of the technology, just again to answer the technology itch, let's just talk about it because we had a couple questions around the back end and stuff. Where's my pen? We had a couple questions around the back end. So what I'm going to answer my question, okay? Because I'll tell you how you would do it if you were just starting out, and then I'm going to answer my question, which is how I'm building it and why I'm building it, because we got technical people here and we want to talk technical, not just only business. Okay, what's going on here? Where is the size of my pen? Scale up. Of course. Pen. Like every week I fight with my pen. Okay, here it goes. So if you have if you're trying to build a CRM system, this is what I would do. Okay, this is what I would do today if I were to do this. Man, why am I fighting with my tool so much today? Huh? Like, what's going on here? I should just use a Skelly draw. I really should. So I just don't want to jump over right now. Okay, line thickness. Here we go. Why is the line thickness coming up? Opacity. Come on. Oh my goodness. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna take your advice, bro. EXCALIDRAW. Yeah, I do like these guys. I just I kind of stopped using it for a while. But yeah. So okay. If you have your application, so this is your application. Okay. The simplest, easiest thing that I would do if I were you and you wanted to build your own CRM system is literally build a mono app, and then on this side here, use D1 database. D1. Now I'm putting this with an asterisk. It could be D1. It could be Cloudflare, Superbase. Okay, why am I telling you D1? It's because D1 is the cheapest database that I know that could scale up to any single thing that you guys would want to do from a vibe coding standpoint. Okay, vibe. And I'm cheap, in case you don't know. So this is what I would do. Okay, Cloudflare, no, sorry, not vibe coding, Cloudflare D1, sorry. C-L-O-U-D D1. Okay, It's that simple. Like I'm trying to give people the simplest solution here. If you want to do this on your own, okay, because, well, frankly, because I'm just trying to just tell you guys what I would do from a vibe coding standpoint, okay? Because this is a vibe coding channel. I'd go to uh, I mean, you could do, Google is the best right now with the AI. So I would do AI Studio. I would do I would do Stitch, Google Stitch. Sorry, not this, Google Stitch. Just to get a design going. Okay, Google Stitch for design. Get a design going. So here I got a SaaS productivity app. I say, hey, I want to build a AI application to keep track of whatever cases. I would do export, and export. I would go to AI Studio and then say build with AI Studio, and I would build a CRM system. And in 10 minutes, maybe less than that, you'd have a full CRM system. In fact, we're gonna do that right this minute, just to make sure that I'm not BSing you guys. Okay, everybody knows to do this stuff, but we're just kind of level setting here. So can you build me a CRM system that allow me to keep track of my calls, my emails, my notes for customers, etc. I want to use something similar to Pipedrive. So if we can make that happen, that would be great. Based on the Pipedrive principles with a Kanban board. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to use a cheap Flash 3.0 Flash because I don't want to spend too much time working on it, but just to kind of come up with a design. But this is what I would do from a design standpoint because, oh my goodness, pull reference. Let me just see here. Pull in references. Okay, got you. Yeah, so it's going to come with activity board. It's going to come with a Kanban board. It's going to come with the activities dashboard, contact us. And why would I use Google Stitch? Is because Google Stitch is really good at allowing me to kind of iterate on the design standpoint. And if you're like a proper seasoned programmer, what I would do is I'd pull that over into a Visual Studio Code or something like that. So you can do. But I love to use a visual Google Stitch. I think it's one of the most underrated product. Every single week you're going to hear me talking about this because I think it's just fantastic. They've made some changes to it, which I don't really like because the design is not as good as when it started out, which drives me nuts. However, I do like the fact that it starts to do this sort of like a color scheme. But I noticed that all the websites have the same color scheme. It's just really annoying. So you have to kind of be a little bit more strategic now in giving it like a color palette. Otherwise, you just get this very dull, boring, kind of gray feeling application, which is like, they just messed up the tool because it was good at the start and then it just, again, this is the problem with all these models, right? It's like you start good and then then they change it and then you're kind of like chasing like white rabbits. All right. So where are we? Okay, so it's gonna pull up this like here. So here, CRM system. All right. Contacts, infrastructure. I don't know why it has this kind of weird fuzzy kind of color scheme, but whatever. Okay. So if you notice, this almost looks like Pipedrive. Like if I squint, right, this looks like Pipedrive. It literally looks like, see here, name, details on the left hand side, details on the right. Okay. If I come back to Google Stitch, let's bring this closer. There, kind of looks the same, right? Details on the left hand side. Sorry, profile information on the left hand side, or lead information, and then the details are on the right. This is just what you would get with a CRM system. It's pretty standard, right? And then here I can see my calendar, my activities, or whatever. So I'm just going to export. I'm going to say let me see if it finished. Is it finished? Almost. No. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. It's finished. Yeah. So we could do export. Oh, I have to select everything. Select all. Okay. And then, so you have to select all the pages that you want, and then you just export, build with AI Studio. And it's literally just going to take all the pages except for the main page markdown, and it's going to say, build me an app screen that looks like this so you can hot links, whatever kind of deal. You can hot link images from the HTML. Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's the whole AI Studio. This is actually by far the fastest way to iterate and build, at least to my knowledge at this particular point in time, because it still allows you, if you're doing proper design, one of the things that you have to do is you have to separate design from development if you're doing a really proper application. Okay, now this is one of those do as I say, not as I do, because I'm getting to the point where I just build out whatever straight in, VS Code or whatever. But I always kind of use this as a starting point, right? Just to kind of go good. So, Mr. Founder IQ, you know what I mean. Um, want popularity by user? No, I don't want popularity, bro. I'm already popular enough. But yeah, so that would be the path that I would take. Okay, so with that, let's link to Google Stitch or Google. That's what you're asking me for, Google Stitch. So if you want to Stitch, STITC, Stitch build with Google. There we go. So Google Stitch. Here we go. Drop that in the chat. Just to look at me. And if you haven't already, check out the school community. I'll drop the link inside of there as well too, so at least you have that. TTPS://dwain.me/SKOOL. SKOOL. There we go. Okay. Right. So yeah, so that's what you would do. All right. Now, why am I telling you guys all this and why this is important? Are we gonna this is why I'm saying, if you're trying to sell your product and you're trying to push things, don't go building your CRM system. It's one of the most stupidest things that you can do. Okay, and I'm telling you this while I'm actively building my own CRM system. I just want to be clear with this. Okay, but I'm gonna argue I got a little bit of experience on this stuff and I know what I'm doing, kind of. Right? So it's really, really hard. It's really, really hard. One of the biggest problems that you'll run into as you start doing vibe coding is that it's super easy, as you can see, right? We're in 5 minutes or less, right? We're basically building out an entire CRM system, and I'm putting that in air quotes, because once you start getting into the real details on the vibe coding platform and working through all the details, you realize that it's just really, really hard and complex, and it's just a lot of moving parts. Okay, so one of the questions was, how do you know it's going to work? How do you know it scales? Details matter, 100%, Mr. Coletti creates. Yes, details matters, and that's exactly where people fall apart, because they're trying to vibe code these things like, oh yeah, I could just vibe code this in a weekend. I was like, oh yeah, let me see it scale. And then you're like, what do I do? So it just requires a little attention. I'll tell you this, okay? Like, I'm not bragging here. Let me see how much. Actually, I'm curious. I keep doing this every single week, but I'm curious. I've been working. I wish I could just pull out just how long I've been working on my CRM system. There's probably a way for me to correlate my GitHub. Actually, you know what? I might do, correlate my GitHub commits on lead score with estimated hours of working. But anyway, doesn't matter. This week here, I didn't really work a lot. I kind of slacked off this week. I'm a little distracted. So so it's Friday. So yeah, I worked 52 hours this week. So significantly down from my average of like 80 hours. This is pure computer time, by the way, but it's just, I had a bunch of stuff going on. So anyway, in my 52 hours this week, I've been full-time 100%, pretty like, yeah, like, okay, 75% productivity outside of watching all the craziness what's going on with the world has been on building my CRM system. Okay, so while I'm showing you that you could get this done in 5 minutes, I guarantee you're building something real. Like, yeah, the details matter, and you're not gonna get it in 5 minutes time. So let me show you what I was working on this week, just to kind of give some more context. So one thing that I noticed is that again, it's an agentic CRM system, so it needs to do outreach on your behalf. However, it's going to at some point tell you, the human being, that you need to start working on calling these people or talking to them, etc. Right? So it needs to kind of bring things up to you. So we have this thing called a speed dial. And what does the speed dial do? It allows you to just see a whole bunch of leads on the left-hand side. You could filter them by manually added or what the system recommends. So the system will say, hey, here's the next 100 people that I recommend that you call based on all the work that I've already done for you. Okay, again, it's agentic CRM system, so it's doing the work for you in the back end, and then it's like, hey, go call these people and talk to them. And then I have it doing that. And this week here, I started making calls because I'm trying to get back into sales calling and stuff like that now. And the very first thing I was like, man, I'm so out of touch with like making sales call. What do I tell these people? Like what? Like I literally couldn't remember. Then I had to like go on the computer and start thinking about something to tell them. So I built this feature here called the call coach. And it's exactly what it says it is. It literally is a coach that now you can kind of like on each lead, it'll tell you exactly what you do. So what is it doing in the background when it's sent out an email? It literally it will go through and it will see the entire summary of all of the communication, if there was any interaction, if there was any previous calls, every single thing that was done previously, and then it'll dynamically, based on the power of AI, tell you exactly what you need to do next to push this lead forward, right? Because it knows the mission and the goal of your company. And in this particular case, this is a cold call. So it's just like, hey, Dwayne. So obviously the name is blurred out here. It's Dwayne. Quick one. Did I catch you at a terrible time? Right. Still got to make some edits to the actual cold call script, but just the thing. If they're busy, it says all good. Should I call you later today or tomorrow? Okay. If they say no, you say cool. I'll be quick. This is what this is about how you handle scheduling and invoicing when it's busy, right? So that's like my opener. My goal is just to buy 10 seconds. Okay. My point is, even if you've never done sales call, this system will at least guide you on what to do. And it's not like generic, hey, here's how to do an open. It's like, no, for this lead, this specific thing, this is exactly what you need to do. This is what you need to talk about. Okay. And then it tells you exactly thing. And then you have like different scenarios. Okay. So if you're doing so on the opening, there's a pitch, right? So I could say, I'll keep this super short. We help small HVAC electrical companies, crews with scheduling jobs, etc. Right? Like that's kind of this is my pitch. And what is my goal here? My goal is to do one thing, which is book a simple 10 minutes call. That's it. That's my goal. Right? If I get a gatekeeper, I have answers for that. So let's say I say, hi, can I talk to whoever, John? And gatekeeper says, who's calling? The answer is Dwayne. It's about scheduling and invoicing. It's nothing important, right? Like I'm just what's the word? I'm diffusing her so that, or him, right? Him or her. I'm just kind of, because whatever gatekeeper's job, their job is to be defensive, and their job is to basically put up sort of a wall so you can't talk to whoever it is. Their job is to protect that person's time, right? So I'm just being like, hey, it's Dwayne. It's about scheduling and invoicing, but it's nothing important or it's nothing urgent, right? Like I'm just putting that up so she knows that I'm not trying to like push my way through her, right? If she says they're not available, I'm like, okay, no worries. Are they the right person to talk about dispatching and scheduling, or is this somebody else, right? I'm just trying to fish for information, right? And she's like, okay, send an email. I'm like, okay, yeah, happy to, no problem. Just quick question for you. Should I send the email to him, to this bird, to John, or actually, sorry, let me rephrase that. I was like, okay, happy to. Quick, so I send the right thing. Are you guys using a scheduling and invoicing system today, or is it split up, right? And really what I'm trying to do is I'm just kind of fish for small little details, just to get me the next levels, because I'm going to put that back in my CRM system. So the next time I call, I'll be like, hey, Jenny, or whoever the admin person is. I know you guys are using this tool because I had that information because she told me the last time. I know you guys are using this. Like, is it working for you guys? Like, I'm just trying to just understand just some basics about it if you don't mind, chatting with me for 2 minutes, right? Like, that's how you just kind of progress the call a little bit. I'm not trying to give you guys sort of a sales, how to do sales call here, but I'm just kind of giving you the concepts or the idea. So for me, what I want to do, this is my goal. I don't have this today, just to be clear, but what I want to do is I want to have my AI in real time listening to the call to understand the flow. And depending on that, it will in real time show me what the next steps is. I don't have to read it word for word, but in case I'm having like a brain fog day or like an off day, the system in real time will just basically kind of show me, hey, okay, gatekeeper, this is what you need to say next. Oh, they have objections. This is what you need to say. If they have, they say wrong person, this is what you need to say. If they say the person left the company, this is right. Like it just basically just switching in real time, just to give me that bit of edge, so I could just make that sales call more effective. What solution are you integrating to make voice phone calls to customers? Great question, my friend. So this system here is actually load balancing across 3 different providers. Happy to give you the trade secrets. We're using Twilio because they're the biggest in the industry. We're using SignalWire, S-N-I-G-A-L-S, oh my, S-I-G-N-A-L-W-I-R-E, Signal Wire, and we're using Telnyx, T-E-L-N-Y-X. Okay, why 3 providers? It's very simple. I'm building a system that is designed to never fail. That is my goal. Okay, that's a very ambitious goal because it's really hard to do that. But I'm telling you, that's my mission. All right. So you can come in here to answer that more specifically. You can come in here. You can come to phone number, and I could basically just say by phone number, and then I can just basically choose the country. Right. So I'm in Canada, so I could just do Canada, and then I could just do search numbers, and I could click buy. All right. And then when I buy that phone number, if I make a call with that phone number, it's probably going to show up as spam. So I have a whole registration system inside of here that takes my personal detail, the personal information, and then basically just allow me to kind of connect it to all the different registries, so that my company, in other words, from 5 seconds buying a phone number, have it automatically sort of submitted to all the different proper registry, so that it doesn't show up as likely spam. Right? I'm increasing my my thing. But yeah, to answer your question, it's Twilio, Signal Wire, and thing. This makes it a little bit more hard. Okay, if you're starting out, you don't want to do this. This is a nightmare to get right. Okay, I just want to be clear with this. And then on top of that, to go a little bit more deep on the question, I'm using LiveKit. Okay, because the other half of this is to have AI do these calls for me. In some cases, right now it's not going to do cold calling for me because I don't think the technology is there, but it's certainly going to try to do, if I book a call, it's going to do the follow-up to find out if the person is going to join the call or not, that meeting. It's just going to do that for me automatically in the background. That's what the agentic side of the system does. So good question. I'm glad hopefully it can help. Hopefully I answered your question, Mr. David. So yeah, so we are, I mean, hang on, am I missing any? Yeah, just making sure that no other questions come through. Yeah, okay, great. So where are we at? Leading thing. Right. So the goal with this system here, okay, in addition to making the calls, the minute I click on the hang up button, it automatically sends out a message. It knows what to do. Right? AI cold calling are not allowed per FTC. Yes, I'm aware of this. The AI, I got you. Are you the police? I'm just kidding, man. Don't worry, I got you. We're gonna try to, and I say try because the laws and the rules are always changing, to try and make this 100% legit, so that we don't get people in trouble by following all of the rules. And I genuinely mean that. Every single one of the regulatory rules altogether, including, this call is being recorded, yada, 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 and all that kind of stuff. That being said, though, I am not allowing that to restrict my building. Okay, I'm going to build the system first, and then based on the, especially in the US, different states, different regulation, all that kind of stuff, then we're going to bake in the regulations to it. Right now, we're not thinking about that part. We're just focused on the pure system first. Get the system right, and I guarantee you, there's enough money coming in here. We'll find enough lawyers to deal with that. Right? This is just how the big companies roll. So you gotta take a playbook out of the thing. If you guys don't know, this is a real strategy, by the way. Okay, there's a thing called regulatory capture. Okay, I'm gonna educate you guys for a bit here. REGULATORYCAPTURE. Okay, there's a thing called regulatory capture. Here's a 2 cents for you. Regulatory capture is a form of corruption. Okay, where government regulatory agencies enact policies that benefit industries they oversee rather than public interest. Okay, that's a mouthful. Let me just tell you how it's worked in the real world, because OpenAI is trying to do this right now. Okay, you build a technology works really, really cool, everybody loves it, so you're the number one, OpenAI, right? They're the leader in, technically, right? We could argue about who's the leader, but technically they're the first. They got the biggest amount of users. I think right now they're at 900 million users, weekly active users on their platform. So that's pretty big in comparison to Anthropic's 150 or whatever the number is. So with that, the question is, how do you stay the leader? It's very simple. You start going to the regulatory agents, aka the governments and whatever. You give them money because, capitalism. This is just how we work. This is how we roll. And then what we do is we literally get them to write regulations that allow us, aka the leader, to be the forefront, and we just kind of like put a barrier with regulations, and everybody else that comes to try to compete with me has to go through those regulatory hurdles. That's regulatory capture. This is a real thing. It exists. All businesses have done it for years. And then, in fact, Bill Gates, in one of his interviews, he said the one thing that he regret not doing was spending more time in Washington, because if you remember, Bill Gates had all this busy subpoena and all this kind of stuff. So highly recommend that you guys kind of, I won't say play the game, but you got to play the game. So, but do it ethically, okay? This is my number one stance, okay? Whatever you do, do it ethically, okay? We don't need more corruption in the world. Trust me, there's enough. Mr. David, let me see what you're saying. So interesting. I missed the top info you shared with getting phone registration and need to buy phone numbers. Do you do you them just for the session? Do you do no just for the session? Oh, right. Let me just make sure I think I got that right. I'm just gonna try to rephrase your question. So what you're basically asking me is does my system just buy the phone number just for the call session? If I think that's what you're asking me, the answer is no. What you can do is you can buy phone numbers for the company. Sorry, TikTok typo. Yeah, no worries, you're good. So what you do is you buy the phone number for the company, right? Why would you want to do this? So I'm in Toronto right now. Okay. Someone might actually here. I'll give you a little more detailed answer. There's a graph that I'm following right now. It's called where America moved in 2025. This is an interesting graph, by the way, for all of my American people or my American friends in the house. So it's a study that basically is showing what's going on in America right this minute, just in 2025. We're not talking about any. Geez, hang on, back up here for a second. Let me just download it. Download. Come on, save image. Same image as. Come on, download, save, and open, and then bring that out here and make it bigger. There we go. Okay, so what is it doing? This is showing you a list of all of the places that people have moved to. So any single thing in blue is positive. Any single thing in red is people are migrating. So Mr. Marvin, Mr. Country Hits AI, there's a lot of people getting out of your city or your town. So California, they just passed a law right now that basically is going to start taxing anybody that is over $1 million plus with more taxes. People are just migrating. I listened to a podcast with a bunch of billionaires and they've all left and they went to Texas. If you notice, Texas has plus 23. Indiana, which is kind of crazy, has like 63, or is it Indiana? Yes, it is. I think it is. Wyoming, 26 plus 26, right? Florida, right? These are places where people are migrating to in the US. So you got this kind of weird migration that's kind of happening. So I'm using this information to correlate the companies that I want to call, right? Because I'm following the money, right? And just for you guys, if you're trying to do this type of stuff, this is a way to think about this type of stuff. You got to follow the money. So you got to follow the industries, right? In my particular case, I'll give you my use case here. I'm targeting HVAC, electrical, plumbing type companies. Okay. So where are these guys? Well, they're all over America, obviously, but the places that are making the money, it will be the places where there's just more development, more construction, more thing. Right now, there's a ton of data centers building in Texas. And so as a result, you're going to be just naturally, you're going to get a brand new companies, right? Construction companies, HVAC companies, people that were working for large companies that are starting their own company, et cetera, building out their infrastructure their company. And so I'm going after that market, hence the reason why I'm building out this tool as well too. So to go more back specifically to your question, Mr. David, what I want to do is with the system is, even though I'm a Canadian company, right, I want to call a local Texas number. Okay, so that's the mission, right? Because if I'm calling to if the company that I'm targeting is in Texas, they're more likely to pick up the phone if they see it's a local number, right? There's no point in them seeing if they're in Texas and I'm calling from Toronto or New York or whatever, they're like, yeah, this is some weird call center, whatever it is, right? So that's the reason why you would buy multiple numbers. Okay, hopefully that answers the question. And so this allows you to easily buy the number and register the number with your company legally within the the phone directory system, so that that number does not show up in Texas as a likely spam number. That's the reason. And you don't want to think about this. You want to press one button and just be done with it, right? So that's kind of the idea. Hopefully that answers the question. How do you handle security layers on your application in this space? So a very complicated question, but I'll try to answer it. It's very simple. You literally layer it with security. So on a very high level, so where do you get your where are you getting the numbers? Getting the numbers from Twilio. So I use Twilio API to connect with Twilio and basically buy the numbers automatically, right? So I can buy, see here, I have a tab here called buy numbers. I can buy by any city, by any country, by any thing. So Twilio and SignalWire is the two that I have integration with. But like I mentioned, I'm also using Telnex, which is another provider. So in other words, what I'm basically doing is load balancing my system across multiple companies, right? And any of the developers in the room understand what I mean by load balancing. So on the security side, we're using Auth0. To answer your question is, there's two ways to deal. Well, there's multiple ways to deal with security. The first one is make sure that you have layer, right? Because that's what security is. It's a bunch of obfuscation of data across layers to make things hard. I'm using Cloudflare, number one, because Cloudflare is a security company by default. And then number two is I'm using they have a platform called Zero Trust, which is really good. That does a lot of the sort of like, let's call it integration with Azure on the back end and a few other things. That's sort of the high level. And then we're using Auth0 for authentication. So in other words, don't roll your own security. Just use the providers that are really good. I've been using Auth0 for like ages. So fantastic tool, really good. Highly recommend it. A lot of people ask me about Better Auth. Okay, Better Auth is a good tool. It's fantastic for developers. It's not enterprise ready. Okay. Now I'm putting out an asterisk. These tools are being developed significantly fast. Here it does say enterprise grade at scale. It just haven't been proven out as yet. It's just too early in the market. Okay. The other tool that I normally use is Work OS. This is a new integration for me that I'm working on. This is where all the big boys go right now. So if you want like true enterprise level scale, this is where everybody's going. So from OpenAI to Anthropic to Cursor to Perplexity to Vercel, you name it, they're all sitting here. Plaid is one of the biggest integration with all the banks. All right. Do people detect AI talking to them? So it depends. Maybe I could show you a use case of it. If you're calling into the AI, people actually don't detect. The ones that I'm using, it's so good right now that it's very hard to detect whether it's an AI or not. There's a couple of things, and I've tested this with my wife and a few other people. I've tested it with my friends by having them like just randomly make cold calls to my friends and stuff, because I'm trying to test to make sure these things will work. 90% of the friends that I called, they couldn't tell that it was an AI talking to them until the AI repeats something multiple times or a couple of things. Like there was a few very specific things that I kind of detect on. What they're more likely to do is get angry with the AI. In fact, most of my friends, when they call, they'd be like, "Hi, how's it?" And then it would say something like stupid, and then they would get angry and repeat, and then they would get angry again and repeat it, and then they're just either hang up the phone or something. But as long as I could get the AI to not do stupid repeat, it was almost indistinguishable from a human. But human beings are very good. We have an extremely good bullshit detector, right? And so it's really hard to beat. So I believe that we're just about a year away from like indistinguishable, like 100%. And the other part about this is that you need something like Cloudflare, because the latency is super important. you need to be under 300 milliseconds in latency. Right now, the tools that I'm using is sitting around 500 milliseconds because there's a trade-off between quality of conversation and latency. And right now, the best I've been able to do is 500 milliseconds on the latency, which is still a little bit too slow. A human being can kind of detect it. Um, but but yeah, it's we're getting there. We're getting really fast. The best tool that I found on the market is LiveKit. In order to do this sort of like real-time audio type stuff. I shouldn't say that too. Vappy is pretty good as well too. Vappy is pretty good. And if you guys are wondering, I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to repeat myself here, or I should just repeat myself. I've run the numbers. Let me give you the numbers. I got to remember it because I have it in my chat GPT. But it's something like, if I were to do, what's the number? 500? Let me just make sure I got that right. I mean, I don't want to give you guys crappy numbers. Let me just make sure. Oh, right. If I were to do, okay, I might be butchering this. Take this with a grain of salt. But I think it was like, if I were to do 500 calls per day. Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. 500 calls, 500 times 5, right? Times 4. Yeah. So 10,000 calls. That's right. Yes. So if I were to get the 10,000 calls per month, with Vappy and AI, it'll cost me about $800 to $1,000 per month right now. Right. Spending about 3 to 5 minutes on the phone, cold call. Okay. So it's not super expensive, but I feel like there's some wiggle room here to kind of get the price down a little bit more. But my calculation is if I were to mix human and AI, and keep the cost to around, I could get the cost to around like $500 per month, and that will allow me to do about 20,000 calls per month, like just at a high level. Okay, this is if all things equal. Obviously, all things are not equal. So anyway, point is, where's the link to the community? Link to the community is right here, sir or ma'am. I don't know who you are, but I'll drop it in chat. Dwayne.me/school. Yeah, you mentioned retail the last time, and I actually did try it out and I did experiment with it. I just haven't actually used it because the reason why is the pricing was not good for me. TEL. It's good at like small scale, but not at large scale. Their pricing is higher than Vappy, and their pricing is higher than LiveKit, which is what I'm really using as my backend. So essentially, what I'm doing, retail just gives you a more polished sort of implementation, but at a cost. And so, it's just too pricey for what I'm trying to do. Vappy is the next level down from there, which is really good. LiveKit for sure is the best right now in terms of like pure cost and AI capabilities. It's very good, very very good. That being said, though, it's still fairly new, so there's still a really high level of complexity in terms of like implementation at scale. Okay, I've tested it. I've tested it. I've done a bunch of work with it. They just brought out Agent UI, which is the ability to bring UI, Agent UI, which is the ability to bring like a really cool UI into into your application, so you can get like these cool kind of like talking animation type stuff. It's good, but the complexity is, actually, I shouldn't say that. To get this integrated into the app is actually really easy, but to make it do all the things that I want it to do, let's just say it's a little bit more than just some basic stuff. So, and I had to pull back a little bit because I had AI working in my application, and then when I tried to get it working across SignalWire and Twilio and Telnex, there were some complexities there, so I had to rip it out for a second to put it back in at a later date again. Yes, I'm going to look at what you mentioned. Yeah. LiveKit is really good, very very good. Like it's because this here, if you're doing like if you want to do a proper voice integration in your application, you cannot go wrong with audio visuals, and this is the place to be right now. They have the best audio visuals. In fact, this is what ChatGPT uses on the phone. You know, ChatGPT has the animation thing. When ChatGPT came out, this is the one that they use. They not the Wave, the the bar. This one here. This is what I don't know if you guys remember this, but this is what ChatGPT had at their very, very first. That's how I found out about these guys, because I had a goal of only doing the best, which at the time was ChatGPT and what they were doing with voice. So yes, highly recommend it. Hey, water break, juice break here. Gotta remember to keep my sugar level up. You guys are keeping me busy. Mouth is going a mile a minute. So yeah, who has questions? Anybody got questions? By the way, if you get some value, give me a thumbs up or a heart or any single thing. You know, we gotta please the algorithm gods. All right. So as you can see, listen, guys. It's for you to build a proper real API for you to build a real agentic CRM system. It's extremely complex. There's just a lot of details that you got to work through. And trust me, I'm a seasoned developer. I've been working on this nonstop consistently, and I'm like, man, there's so much work here. But I'm almost done. I promise. We're gonna be launching soon, and you guys are welcome to be my first beta customers. I got you 7,000. I got you. Hey, appreciate you, man, Coletti. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. 7,000 likes from 900. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, sir. My appreciation. Okay, so what else does an agentic CRM have to do? This is a question I'm glad that you asked. I just finished my first PWA fitness app. It works. Hey, congratulations. Can I be a beta user? Because I'm struggling with fitness right now. But congratulations. That is a big deal. Now, did you do? Oh, you did the PWA. Yes. Okay. You know, let's inbox me. I will for sure. By the way, join my community, Mr. Collett, if you haven't already, man. Join my community, and we could chat there, because I'm trying to learn from the people that are building. What are the challenges and what are the things that you guys are working on? But yes, join my community. I'm gonna definitely message you as well too, because I want to interview some of you guys to see what you guys are working on, how you're building, what are the challenges that you're having. This is really important to me. In fact, that's going to be something I'm going to try to, maybe every week, I'm going to try to bring on at least one person to kind of learn from, just kind of get you guys to share your story, share what you're working on, even if it's just a 5 minutes conversation, and showcase it. And so, everybody in the group could kind of learn from each other. That's what we're about here, right? I'm not about just making money. Like, obviously I want to make money, but the point is that I want to learn and share knowledge with like-minded individuals. I think it's important to understand some coding, vibe coding. AI will need your, 100%. AI will need up your code. Yes, you can't build a real scalable application without knowing some level of coding. That being said, though, you can build a pretty good proof of concept I get you, mess up your code, I get you. You could build a pretty decent application. That's a proof of concept, right? Proof of concepts, like all day long, every day. Like, you could roll them out in a minute. In fact, that's what we were doing here, right? Let's see, where is that? So here, this is our proof of concept, okay? Let's open it up in the full screen. So here, I just proof of concept a CRM system, right? Does it work? No. Do I have a foundation to start with? Sure. See, contacts inside of here, whatever. Now, getting this proof of concept to an actual database, even easier, right? I could download this code. I could put it in, implement it with Cloudflare D1, by the way, which is what I recommend. And I could ship this up to Ting. In fact, we're going to continue doing this in the background. All right. This you can do all day long. In fact, let's just do it right now, just to make sure that, for people that don't really know this stuff, at least they could kind of see it, right? So I can do publish, and let's do GitHub. And then we're going to put public repository, doesn't matter. We're going to call it, it's going to call it demo CRM. Vibe code demo CRM. Okay, let's call it that. And it's going to be public. And how come it doesn't give me the GitHub create a repository? Hang on a second, what's going on here? Where is the integration? Hang on, I gotta go to, where's my integration? They've made a bunch of changes here, so I don't know. Okay, really? My goodness. Leave it to Google to just like pull the rug under your feet. Publish. Oh, it's so annoying. Integration. GitHub. But it doesn't give me the ability to call. Oh, maybe it's looking for this. That's what it's looking for. Sorry. Okay, sync your changes, create in a repository. Sure, let's see. Stage and commit. Okay. So there, I got myself a vibe coded application, and then let's just to keep things complete. Okay, Cloudflare, doing this for you guys in real time, for the people that don't know. All right. I'm gonna go to new worker, create new application, continue with GitHub. I'm gonna go to my personal, vibe coding demo, next, deploy. That's it. Okay, now this might fail because there's a little asterisk here. Oh, actually no, and let me just think about what it's doing here. This is not a full React app, so it should just go through problem, right? Continue, and it's just gonna just git repository, clone a repository, and then just build and then deploy. And then just to take it one step further, I will show you guys. Just want to make sure that everybody understands how super easy it is to just get the basis going here, like entry-level stuff. And just to be clear, this is Cloudflare scaling globally. All right, we're deploying to region Earth, which is my favorite saying that they have. It's like, where are you deploying? Is it East US, West US? No, we're just deploying to Earth, okay, as opposed to Mars. I love it. Right, so this is going to deploy. I'm going to continue to the project, and then once it builds, it's going to give me a URL here. That's it. Bam. I'm up and running. All right. Let's put security on this here because somebody asked me about security. First of all, I'm going to give it a custom domain name. So I'm going to say, I already got, I don't know which domain name. I'm going to say vibe code and demo. I'm going to say demo.dwayne.me because that's one of my domain names. Okay. Dwayne.me could not be added. Okay. So vibe coding maybe. Vibe coding demo dash demo. Let me just see. I don't know if I'm doing it. Yeah, I should have it. Should have it there. There we go. There. Vibe coding dash demo.dwayne. That's my domain name. Done. Okay. Application is up. Let's put security on it. All right. You ready for this? Let's put security. Where are we? Observability. No. No. Settings. They keep changing this stuff. Okay. Here. Access. I got to copy this stuff. Actually, I don't even need this for this here. Okay. Go back here. Refresh. Refresh. Come on. I did. Oh, I got to put this one as well too. Preview URL. No, that's fine. Okay. Close this here. Close this. Open new tab. Come on. Come on, Mr. Cloudflare. What are you doing? Messing up my demo here. Cloudflare access, manage Cloudflare access. Okay, hang on a second. Let's just make sure that this is right. 24 hours, vibe coding, path, domain. It's okay, so we need to put, all right, we got to put one more domain, add public domain name. So I just got to put this guy inside of here. So I got to copy this domain, go back here, press this one, put this second domain name inside of here. And then it has to be Dwayne.me. And then I have to remove this here. Okay, so it's just basically just what it's doing is basically saying all of these paths I want to protect. So now if I come back here and I click on a refresh, bam, Cloudflare access. Okay, that's how simple it is, guys. Now you're going to be like, oh, well, I don't want to use Cloudflare access. I want to use something else. I got you. I got you. Okay, come back inside of, where is it? Vibe coding demo. All right, click on configure, click on login methods, and then I'm just gonna just do this the easy way for today. Okay, I'm gonna do AD, click on save. Now I'm gonna come back inside of here, gonna go back to the same domain URL, press enter. Come on, it takes a little second or two because we're deploying to region Earth. Okay, give it a second or two. And when I come, when I come back in login method here, here, apply instant authentication. Yes, so allow users to skip identity providers selection when there's only one provider. So basically I have to check that off. Click on save application. I have to give it a second. So let's just open it up in a new incognito window. Paste the same URL, press enter. Bam, look at that. I'm all the way to Microsoft already. Okay. In, I don't know, however long that was, 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 5 or 3 minutes, however long it was. I just, from AI Studio, straight to GitHub, over to Cloudflare, just put security on it, and then swap the security and put Azure Active Directory, which is like enterprise. That's as enterprise as it gets. Okay, not even Google is that enterprisey. All right, everybody know what Microsoft is like. There's a whole lot of level of complexity. That's how easy it is. Now I can just look at this. Click on login, put in my password. Okay, two-factor authentication, just so you guys don't hack me here. All right, where are we at? 80. All right. Okay, click on yes. Bam, I'm in. Okay, so Cloudflare, this is just redirection stuff here. You gotta specify where it needs to be redirected to. This is not even a thing. My point is, that's how easy it is for you to set up authentication. All right, full in 5 minutes, whatever it is. We just set up the whole 9 yards here. Okay, let me catch up on the chat here. I think it's yes, we mentioned the code part. Mess up. Yeah, got you. I started building out a social media app. Oh my goodness. Okay, you got some problems, bro. As if we don't have enough social media app already. That's too funny. Well, listen, my hat's off to you. Okay, if you can pull that off, I'll be 100% there with you. Social media is hard. It's a lot of complexity. Yeah, no, this is the cool thing about the era that we're in, right? It's like you can just vibe code anything. So I'm just finishing building a document to email automation that integrates with DocuWave. Can you tell me more about that, Messi? Also has a mini CRM to track follow-ups. Tell me more about that use case. What are you solving for? Who is this for? I'm really interested because so DocuWave I know, DOCUV, which is the cloud alternative to let me see if I get this right. Actually, maybe I don't know. I'm thinking DocuSign. Hang on, let me see. So transform your documents dependent work. So stop managing documents, start putting them to work. Your intelligence. What are you solving here, buddy? Oh, okay. Hang on. Okay, invoicing. Tell me what you're solving here. Legacy documents management isn't enough anymore. In today's fast-paced business environment, simply storing the document is no longer efficient. Organize needs solution to transform documents from static into dynamic assets. Okay. I want to know more about your use case because I'll tell you why. This is me diversion here for a second. My application, SnapSuite, which is not up here right now. Let me pull it up. My application, SnapSuite, which is a project management tool, has a document management system in the backend. And a document generation system in the backend, but it uses Microsoft Word. Okay. So the reason why I'm actually interested in your use case is because I have a side project. This is like a side project of a side project of a side project, okay? But if you look right now, sorry, I got distracted by a text message. I should turn my phone now. I know better than doing that. So, sorry, totally lost my train of thought based on that text message. I apologize. Yeah, so what I was saying about the document, so this is a document generation system. It uses Microsoft Word in the background. Now, I just want to be clear. I don't do this in this application here is really complex. It's been around for a while, like 15 years or whatever. So it has some legacy stuff inside of it that we've modernized. So it uses container in the background to basically generate PDF documents based on information that was inputted inside of here. And one of my projects that I haven't necessarily progressed on is the ability to turn forms into, so static PDF forms into actual HTML forms that then dynamically turns back into PDF forms. This is a thing that I have in my background or whatever. So when you mention this, Rever, it seems to do some version of this, which is what I was kind of talking about, and it's the ability to kind of keep track of all this data, organize it, orchestrate it, all that type of stuff, put data governance around it, and a few other things. But I'm kind of curious your use case, Mr. Messi. Tell me more about your use case and what you're trying to do with it. This is a very interesting sort of space, and it's only people that really understand the problems in this space will get it. So tell me more. Tell me more. I'm waiting. Where are we? Okay. So who else do we have? What else? Any other questions? What else are you guys building? What are you guys building? Tell me what you guys are building. I'm very curious here. So while you guys are doing that, I'm gonna check my streams and live video. For some reason my Instagram went down. We're still on YouTube. Are we? Yes, we still are. Let me just refresh. What are you guys building? What are you guys building? Tell me. Who's building what? Good afternoon. Yeah, we're still on YouTube. We're fine there. Still on X, are we? Let's see. Yep, we're still on X. That's good. Twitch. Man, managing streams is a really hard thing. And you could tell the platforms that don't have native streaming on it. LinkedIn is definitely one of them platforms. And TikTok. So I'm getting a clickable wireframe the way I'm wanting it. Interesting. What are you using for your clickable wireframes? Figma? Right now I'm actually building my own course dashboard. That's cool. Now, is it so you could track your own courses, or is it so that you can teach courses? Both. Yeah, course is definitely one of those highlights. By the way, I want to test all of these tools that you guys are building. Okay, you might have some customers here because, listen, I've learned that you can't vibe code everything, even though I want to vibe code everything. It's like there's a limit to to tokens. So there's only tokens, so many tokens, right? Like they're kind of trying to cap you, and I genuinely mean that, right? Did you guys hear that? Claude is now thinking about um, treating tokens like utility. Did you guys hear about that? So Claude is now doing they put out the blog post. Not they didn't do a blog post about it. But hang on, let me just do the. I don't even know how to search Google anymore. I just is Claude looking to cap Claude Code? Are they looking to cap tokens based on utility, like different hours of the day, etc.? Yeah, this is something that they're trying to do right now. So there's only so much tokens that you could get, right? And they're definitely trying to put usage pattern limitations and that kind of stuff. And this is going to be a real thing. I believe, this is my belief, okay? Don't quote me on this. I don't have any evidence of this. I'm just telling you my personal belief, just based on the pattern that I've seen so far, okay? I believe that in a year's time, maybe 2 years, but maximum, no more than 2.5, 3 years, the amount of tokens that we're getting right now, so the $200 a month plan will probably be somewhere upwards of like $1,000 or more. Okay, we're gonna start getting throttled to a crazy degree that we're gonna look back at these days and be like, man, I should have done more with my tokens because you're wasting them. All right, we're already at that point. So here. So yeah, yes, Anthropic Earl clearly managing Claude and Claude Code usage caps, but not in a simple sense, right? What they're basically doing is they're saying they plan 5-hour session limits and some plans weekly limits. And then what they're going to be doing, for the most part, without reading through all this, they're going to kind of see here, utility based after included. So in a sense, yes, they're moving towards something that looks more like a utility, right? So you know how you're, washing dishes, with your dishwasher at like peak hour costs you more than if you did it off hours, that kind of stuff. Like we're getting to that model, and this is going to become more and more important. So get your token usage up to the maximum amount of possible and just focus on the 1 or 2 app that you believe is going to make you the most money in the future, and just zone in on that, because I promise you, you're going to look back in these days and you're going to be like, man, I should have really capitalized on my tokens, because it's going to get expensive. Trust me on this, guys. Okay. I've maxed out my Google, my Copilot plan, and I'm maxing out my Claude plans. And I just bounce between the two. I'm still on ChatGPT in the $20 a month, and I just kind of rotate between the three of them just to be able to just kind of get the work done that I need. But you're going to have to start doing this in order to think, because I guarantee you that the belts are, gone are the days where, we just free tokens for everybody. Oh, that's done, right? Even Google is pulling back on their free tier and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I'm doing mine. VS Code, Superville, and Netlify. Netlify, eh? Interesting. I like Netlify, but I don't know if I would NETFLY. Superbase, I got you. Oh my goodness, not Netflix, Netlify. NETIFY. They were pretty popular at one point, but I don't know what's going on with them these days. I haven't really heard much coming out of these guys. They're a pretty good solid platform, but they're sitting on AWS, aren't they? Yeah, I think they're sitting on AWS, if I remember correctly. Is Netlify sitting on AWS? Is Netlify, NETIFY, are they sitting on AWS? I don't remember. I think they are. So pricing wise, I'm not telling you to move your stuff, but I'm telling you to move your stuff. Okay. At $20, so private organization, shared repo infrastructure, right? 3 concurrent bills, and 3,000 credits. So fast build. So what do you get for that? Let me see. Full feature comparison. So you get AI runners, but they're basically capped, obviously. So credentials, concurrent builds, AI gateway, extension, Globe Instance, serverless database, 99.9%. You don't even get 99.9% SLA with Pro, really? 30-day audit, security compliance. Okay. If you can, I'm just gonna sell you this here because I don't work for Cloudflare. I just want to be clear, but I'm like, if you go to the developer, if you're not already, and go to, where is it? Wait for it, workers, and do a real comparison to this. $5 a month. Okay, look at this. 10 million requests per month included. 30 cents per million requests after that. And more importantly, for the, I'm not telling you to move off a super base database, but if you could, or if you did, you would be able to get it would be a gigabyte of storage, not the key vault. This is key vault. Where's the database? Hang on. Sorry. Where is it? Database. Where is it, man? 10 million reads per month. Okay, yes, they're basically put in key vault and storage and kind of the same thing because they've made some changes recently. And then up to 500 worker scripts. What is a worker script? Is basically a backend, right? And then now because they've have almost feature parity with Node, it's almost like a Node backend. Almost, I say almost because there's a couple of things that you can't do still in it, and there's still some restrictions. But highly recommend this. Okay, for $5 a month, $5 a month. Right? I keep saying this because I want people to understand how much scale exists with Cloudflare that is underrated. Now, that being said, your Netlify is fine. If you're paying $20 or whatever case per month, I'm not trying to get you to save $20. That's not what the mission is. What I'm trying to do is make sure that when you start to scale, you don't go over that $20, right? With Cloudflare, you could scale. I promise you this, mark my words on this. You could have 10,000 users on your platform and you could still pay on that $5,000 a month. It depends on the type of workload that you're doing, right? But for the most part, if you're doing AI, obviously that's going to go up. But for the most part, you like, and this is all coming from experience. This application here that just to show you, I'm not BSing you, okay? If you go to our website, SnapSuite, and you go to pricing, the cheapest price that we have is $350 per month. My cost on Cloudflare specifically in this particular case is $5 a month. I'm not making that up. Okay, I'm not talking about my Azure stuff and I got a bunch of other stuff in other databases, right? Or just on the Cloudflare, and 90% of my workloads, all front end, every single thing, right, it's sitting on Cloudflare. Okay, so from an economic standpoint, really good. From a security standpoint, can't beat them, right? They'll deal with DDoS protection, their DNS, all that kind of stuff, really, really solid. And their D1 database is pretty good and durable, which we haven't really done a conversation on of lately, but durable objects is the most underrated thing for any single thing in real time. So check it out for sure. Dude, just mark my words on that, okay? And again, I have no affiliation with Cloudflare. I need to say this because people think I actually work for them. I have no affiliation to Cloudflare. And then better yet, I'm gonna do you one more solid. Okay, go to my YouTube. By the way, this Sabrina girl, I like her. She's good. This is where all my followers are. She's good. I like her. Go watch her after you watch me. Go to my YouTube and then go to Cloudflare Insanely Cheap. Okay, there's two of them, but I'll send you why Cloudflare wins. There's two of them, but go watch this one here. Definitely, this will get you going. I compare everything. I gave you a comparison between, oh, you know what? I don't have Netlify inside of here, but I have Vercel, okay? Close enough, right? Versus the AWS and why Cloudflare actually wins this entire game. Go check this out for me, all right? I'm correctly on personal. Oh, yeah, personal. Okay, yeah. Yeah, watch my video on this on YouTube, and it'll give you a full thing. Oh, for Cloudflare you're talking about, so it's the Cloudflare workers here. Cloudflare workers, developers, and then it's basically their workers thing here. Okay, this will give you the whole details. But yeah, check that out. You cannot go wrong. There is a little, just teeny bit learning curve, but if you watch any of my content, I'll show you how to do that in 2 seconds, as you can see from the content that we just did. I just went from Google AI straight to Cloudflare, no problem. It's just a little bit more complicated than the Vercel and whatever setup, but it's nothing that you can't figure out in 2 minutes. Trust me on this one. And the gains are significant, night and day difference, right? So yeah, and like I said, it's not I'm trying to get you to save for today. It's the minute you start to do any kind of scaling, instantly your bill jumps into $200-$300 and more, like instantly, right? I'm asking about scaling. Oh, scaling. So let's talk about scaling. You can do let's go back to it, Cloudflare. Workers. You can do 10 million requests on the paid plan. First of all, you can do 100,000 requests per day on the free plan. If that's not like crazy, I don't know what is. Okay? Because the personal plan that you're paying for right now on Netlify is 100% free. Trust me on this here. There's nothing that you can throw at your scale right now in the personal that wouldn't be covered under this free plan on Cloudflare. The only question is, why would you want to move up? And that is because the database section, you have to pay for the database section. That's it. And it's $5 a month, as I mentioned, right? But that's 10 million requests per month for $5, right? Like you can build it. Like you can build a profitable application. You could get to sub $1 million in revenue at those numbers. Still paying $5 a month. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. People don't understand how good Cloudflare system is. Okay. And then if you do the D1 database, let's just show you. Okay. Now, just be clear. I wouldn't recommend that you go from Superbase to D1. It's not the recommended thing because D1 is not a full database. And I'm putting an asterisk because it's really a SQL-like database, which doesn't do numbers and things properly, right? There's some caveats there. But if you're building from scratch, all day long, I would be doing this. So, where's the pricing for it? Man, this is the only thing about Cloudflare. They're a little complicated. They don't know how to like sell D1 storage. It's in here. It's just that they don't really specify the D1. That's what drives me nuts. They don't specify the D1. Where is it? 10 million requests, 10 million storage, 1 gigabyte. But it doesn't tell you how many databases you could think. But I knew that this number exists. It exists somewhere. I just can't find it. Anyway, just go do Cloudflare. Watch my video. I promise you, I will change your mind. I'm trying to work out the architecture for the beta being on Cloudflare for the social app. Okay, let's talk about it. What kind of social app is it? Is it a replacement to Facebook? Or is it a video platform? Okay. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get my fruits in here. Okay. It's the okay. So it's called, let's go check it out. THEMIXX.app. Omnisocial. Or is it PWA? I got you. For you, so is it gonna be like a TikTok replacement, kind of, or like a clickable wireframe? Yeah, I got you. So okay, kind of like a TikTok video platform, chatting, that kind of stuff. Okay, all right, fair enough. I got you. I think it's like 50k dB on Cloudflare. Yes, something around there. 50k dB. Yes, you're 100% right. Yes. TikTok, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, okay, I got you. Let's talk architecture. So let's get a real architecture tool, or at least my version of a real architecture tool. I don't even know if I'm paying for this. I got so many things in here, and then I stopped paying for it, and then all right, let's do this. New, Lucid, blank. We'll do a real architecture here, buddy. CLA, what are we doing here? It's called THEMIX X.app. There we go. All right, so okay, proof of concept, super simple. We talked about this already, so I don't have to belabor this point, but just for the case of it, proof of concept is super simple, okay? You got your front end, and then you're just talking to database backend, D1 on the backend. I would actually start like this, okay? Now, are you gonna keep this like this? No. But I would do it like this for start, because then you can work on the proof of concept pretty fast without dealing with any single thing. And you pick your framework of choice, right? What do you React? You React, right? ACT, React, Vue, right? Solid. So LIDJS. Yeah, you React. Yeah, Twitch. Yeah, okay, I got you. So that's pretty straightforward. All right. Now we're using for video. So we use their R2 for storage, which is actually pretty cheap, by the way, like way cheaper than you think. So R2 for storage. Now, okay, so this is a caveat here. The R2 is kind of actually, so they don't actually put their video streaming thing. They put their video streaming platform. It's called it's just called Stream. Okay, so the video upload is actually on Stream, but it's actually really just R2 on the back end. That's all it is. It's just, okay, that's just how they do it, right? So you upload by R2. Okay, you got a worker. Again, this is a basic implementation, okay? So let's call it, what do we do for worker? Let's just call this as a worker, okay? So this is my worker, okay? Front end is, so technically front end is a worker, just to be clear, okay? Because that's how they merge every single thing together, but I'm gonna call this a front end worker. Front end worker, right? Which basically is just the app shell itself, the app UI. Okay, and then I have a backend worker. And do this, set this up exactly like this in your code, or at least a version of this in your code. And then I have a backend worker, right? And then the backend worker is going to connect directly to Stream, which basically thing, okay? So backend worker is going to connect to Stream, and it's going to connect to D1 database for your thing. This is the simplest architecture that you can get right off the top, okay? And then for authentication, you're gonna do you at least you can do exactly what I just showed you on this stream here, which you could just do zero trust. Okay, and then you basically just connect it to the social media. Okay, and then you don't even have to worry about authentication in the traditional sense. Why? Because it's already built into auth. Now, that being said, though, if I were to do a true proof of concept, you know what? I wouldn't do this. I take this back. If I were to do a true proof of concept, I would do better auth, because that's what I did, and it's actually really good, because that's what I did for this here. Cloudflare. Oh no, hang on, I got you. Affordly. That's what I did for this here. See here, right? Sign up, click on continue it, and then basically thing. What's going on with my authentication? Anyway, doesn't matter. So Affordly, this app here. Okay, so you got your front end, which is basically a PWA, just to be clear, because that's what you showed me. PWA app, right? Connected to a front end worker, which basically passes API requests to a back end worker. All right. You use better auth for authentication, and that's just basically well, technically just protect your front end. So how we do it this way? How we put some colors on this thing here? Let's do this as a Cloudflare worker and make this bolder. Front end, yellow, and then this is my app. All right, and then better auth is going to sit in front of it to give you some protection. You know, we need protection, not always. There we go. Bam, right? And then on the back end, we got a couple more things we got to do here. So, where are we at? Come on. Right. So better auth on social media, super straightforward, or at least to put together. That's going to give you a PWA, put the front end worker, which is basically going to give you a D1 and thing. And with this here, you definitely have a proof of concept that you can build out. Now, obviously, there's more complexity here, but this definitely can get you started. And it only means that you have basically a mono repo, right? So you just create a mono repo around these two, right? Mono repo. And why don't we send this to the back? Where are you at? Send to back. Come on, man. Really? Send to back. Arrange. There we go. Right? And then where's my text? There. Mono repo. Right? So if you got a mono repo on this, you can you can program both of them side by side and get this going up pretty fast, because you just tell it, hey, create me a D1 database, create me a stream, right, account, and then basically it'll tell you, it'll create those, and then it'll ask you for the secrets, and you just get it to just put the secrets inside of here for the worker, right? That should get you up like super fast. Now, where it goes from there, obviously there's more complexity and stuff like that, but in terms of like a proof of concept, man, like bam, this is like an afternoon worth of work. Let me see. FYI, my backup account is Precious. Got you. I'm using it on my tablet, so if I can see, so I can see what you're doing. Got you. Okay, I got you, Mr. Precious. Hey, man, at Precious. I got you. Make sure I get to your profile. Okay, yep, I got you here. I'll message you. What was I gonna say now? I think it's 50K, blah blah. Saw this somewhere. Yes, we did mention that before. Oh right, sorry. Where are we? So, Mr. Founder IQ app. Where are we? Come on, where's my page? There. No, that's not what I want. TikTok. Yeah, there we go. Okay, here. So, with your D1, let's just work this short for a bit, because this is fairly straightforward to set up, right? I say fairly. Create one mono repo, create a front end folder, create a back end folder, add your workers to it. And then where you're going to end up happening, so let's go back to your prototype for a bit here. Where is it? Here. Okay, a couple of things are going to start emerging from this, right? So let's call it things like likes, comments, shares, right? Notifications. Just to extend this here, just to kind of think of how at least I'd be thinking about this. What you'd end up doing is you have the main backend, and then you would literally create a worker for each one of those things, okay? So a worker for likes, a worker for shares, and I'll just do like and comments, right? And then to keep things simple, like to keep this database, so at the start you could share the database, but really and truly this is where this is the power of D1 database, and this is how Cloudflare recommend that you use it. You don't put all that stuff in one database. What you start doing is start splitting them across databases, right? And you know, with AI, this is significantly easier now because you keep all the IDs, or you keep the reference in another database. So you put all the likes in another D1. Oh my goodness, come on, right? You put all the likes in another D1 database, and you put all the comments in another D1 database, and you just keep sharding it like that, right? And then have the worker basically join. This way you can kind of keep things lower, like small, right? Users inside of here, right? Users and the core app, right? And then basically any single thing that's going to keep scaling endlessly, you put them out in their own infrastructure, in their own database. Likes, comments. Okay, because you know comments is just going to go crazy, and you're going to have to do optimization on that, assuming that you start to get some scale. But this will allow you to keep scaling out. So as you keep adding more features, lives and all this kind of stuff, recommendation, you just keep spinning out Cloudflare workers and databases for them individually, right? And then you might end up having an orchestration. So your front end might have an orchestration. So let's just kind of scale it up a little bit more, right? It'd be like this. So we push the size out, push this here out a little bit more, and then these guys here. So these, oh, come on, man. So here we got a couple of things, and then you would bring out a new Cloudflare worker that would be an orchestrator, or let's call it an aggregator. It's really an orchestrator, but ORCASTRATOR. Don't judge my spelling, okay? I'm a horrible speller because I got dyslexia, but you get the idea, okay? So you got an orchestrator basically that's just kind of connecting between these guys, right? Or orchestrator slash aggregator, right? For more complex stuff, you won't do this for every single thing because obviously the front end could talk directly to the back end. But instead of putting all your logic on the front end, because that's going to keep evolving, right? The orchestrator is kind of like the middleman API layer here. Okay, and this will allow you to do two things, because the next level is on your PWA. This is how, again, I would build this, is I would take this PWA and I would put it into a native app shell. What do I mean by that? It's not a true application. It's just basically a shell of an application. React Native is what I would do in this particular case. And it basically just, it's just basically using the PWA internals, right? So that's where I'd be going with this. David, does D1 SQL allow you to build complex relationship as super base? Yes, 100%. You can do any single thing in D1 as you could do with any other relational database. The only thing that you can't deal with properly is money. And that's not really true, because I'm building an app and you can do financials. It just doesn't deal with it the same way. In other words, Cloudflare can, D1 can only deal in integers. It doesn't have the concept of floating point numbers, decimals, and stuff like that. So what they normally do is you just basically treat every single thing as like decimals, if that makes sense. And then you convert in on the UI layer. That's the only limitation that I think. So, you know, you could dump varchars in there, strings, text, right? It just has like 4 different data types, if I remember correctly. But right, so keep it. If you notice, I just want to be clear with this architecture because you guys don't know D1, okay? If you notice what I'm doing here is I'm kind of breaking, so I could do tons of relationship in here, okay? There's nothing stopping you from there. In fact, let me just show you guys an actual, without like, thing. Okay, so we're gonna go into D1. Where is it? Where are you? Data loss, overview. No, I gotta go back to, let's go to a D1 database, R2 SQL. And let's get to, what can I show you guys here? For the investor profile. Yeah, okay, let's do this one here. So explore, right? So see, it's just a bunch of tables, look, okay? No different from any other database. So buyers, okay? Distributor, this database doesn't have really a lot of stuff inside of it. Investments, right? ID, primary key, right? The whole 9 yards. Relationships, every single thing. It's just an SQL database. For our conversation, it's just an SQL database. There's no difference, okay? There's some slight differences, but it doesn't really matter that much because Cloudflare takes care of all that complexity, and Cloudflare makes it feel like a relational database. That you could, not a relational database. Cloudflare makes it feel like a traditional database where you could put like connection strings and all that kind of stuff. Cloudflare just deals with all that stuff, right? So they deal with all the bindings because that's what the workers do. Cloudflare worker. So for example, let me go see if I can find something that I can show you here. So let's say family planner. See here, observability bindings is what I'm looking for. Bindings here. This is my worker, and Cloudflare just automatically deals with the binding, and it's just a config in the worker, because Cloudflare knows how to deal with all the connection stuff. We don't have to think about it. Okay, so you end up with this very, very simplistic way of connecting tons of workers to these likes. The only reason I'm telling Founder IQ to separate the database is because for scalability. Because you can keep all your users in here, but your likes and your comments might grow crazy. So you just separate them out from day one. And obviously the reference is just basically an ID, right? A GUID ID for the user, right? That's how you would deal with it. Free to start. I will migrate things from Netlify before the next billing cycle. You come back and let me know how that goes. But yeah, your comments are going to go crazy. Your likes are going to go crazy. Okay. Now, let me tell you, just so you guys understand, because we got a real architecture here, or at least a relatively real architecture. Sorry. I'm trying to stuff my face at the same time. So there's a couple of reasons for doing the likes, okay? Like this. Cloudflare, the reason why they allow you to spin up 50,000 databases is because they want you to do this. This is the pattern that they want you to do. So what you would end up doing is, as you start to scale, is the likes you would like. So let's say you got a video. Let's say you have a user, and every single time they post a video, they get like 1 million likes. Okay, it might be impossible for you to store all that likes in one database. So what you would do is you can actually scale it up so that every single time a video posts for this specific user, they automatically get their own database. Like, you understand what I mean? Like that, it's the D1 database is designed for you to kind of like, instead of putting all your data in one massive database, you figure out the level of granularity that you need, and then you throw your data in that database and just spin it up, and it spins up instantly. So it's super fast. And then they take care of all the writing, the reading, the replication, all that type of stuff. In fact, when you write to Cloudflare D1 database, it automatically writes to 5 other regions, and it does not give you a confirmation until those 5 regions have been written to and they could confirm it. And every test that I've done, the writes is about 2 or 3 milliseconds. Okay, it's super, super fast. All right. Let me actually, I got a real world example I can show you guys. So I have stats. Yeah. So here, okay, this is a real page that tracks uptime for my SnapSuite application. All right, and this is a worker. So let's go. Okay, this is a worker. It's tracking performance, right? So an uptime monitoring system runs every 5 minutes, logs all of the logs all of the results. See here, 25 seconds, 1.2 seconds, etc., etc. Puts it in a D1 database. So this is a real status. In fact, I could show you guys that one. So let's go here, worker. Status page. So where are you at? The thing I don't like about Cloudflare is that they show you all of the stupid IDs all the time. It's annoying, but this is fine. This is just public data, really. So here, if I do this, it has a, let me see if I could show you. Aggregation metrics. Is this the right database? Yeah, okay. App status. So it's basically, see here, it's showing it pings every 5 seconds for all of the different APIs. It keeps a track of all of the response time, and then it comes up with, see, snapshot history, and then it shows whether the service is being up or down or whatever. And see here, I have this is a full JSON payload inside of here, created at the whole 9 yards, right? Storing all the numbers. I take that back. See, it does do 3 point. It just shows 3.5, but it's actually under the hood. It doesn't do. It's not the same decimal, if I remember correctly. Okay. And then what else? So syntactic checks. So this is basically keeping track of all the checks. Okay. So how big is this database? Let me just show you. Okay. It's doing so total queries. So it has right now 24,000 reads in the last 24 hours. So let's go back 30 days. I got 1 million reads on this database. I got 205,000 rows written in the last 30 days. And I'm at 29 megabytes. Total queries in the last 30 days is 12,500. So not insanely large. It's not like it's crazy amount of data, but a million row reads, right? In the last 30 days, you know, decent, right? It's not crazy. But my point is, this runs a check across like 20 or so different API endpoints for my application, monitoring every single thing right down to the millisecond, and give me this report, right? So I could go back the last 90 days and see exactly what the performance of my application and when I had spikes, all that type of stuff, right? Every single thing. This is running 100% on D1. So my point is, you can build a pretty substantial system on D1. Okay, every single thing I'm showing you is 100% on D1. In fact, I've vibe coded this entire thing in one night. Okay, where do you store your logs that will grow to? So Cloudflare D1 has, Cloudflare Workers has a thing called, on every worker comes with observability. So let me show you what I mean. So if you click here, there's a tab called observability. You can enable it, and it basically just deals with all the logs. And then you could query it, or you could go real time and you can see the logs, etc. All this comes with that $5 a month. So this will grow. After that, there's some other solutions that they have that's a little bit more advanced, but you don't need. Oh, I meant for your application. So when you say logs, like you're talking about okay, because there's different levels of application logs, right? Are you talking like front end? Or are you talking back end? You're talking, right? So I'll just answer all of them. How about so on the front end? I mean, it's just console logs, and then I use Sentry, right? Oh, okay, back end C server. So front end I use Sentry. Back end, because I'm in C#, I use Application Insight, Microsoft Application Insight. Right. So for application type login, I use Microsoft oh my goodness, Microsoft App. What's it called? Yeah, Application Insight, which is they've now integrated with Open Telemetry. So I use this on the back end, and then but this is just good for like me debugging problems. And then I have my own login system that I built specifically for login very specific things that I care about the application. I used to use Datadog and my goodness, what's the other one? Relic, oh my god, Relic, New RELIC, back in the day, right? I've used all this. I've used Datadog. They're just, these tools are great. They have their place. They're just not for me. Scaling, because like what I recognize is I was paying more for keeping logs than any single thing else. So what I do with Open Telemetry is I cap it at, depending on the application on the back end, I cap it at a gigabyte of data, and it just throws away the data. Generally speaking, I only need to see the logs within the last 5 days, 5 to 7 days, and that's it. It doesn't mean after that. I don't care about it, because if a customer sends a problem, I'll just go into the application and then retrace that problem and check the logs, pull out the problem that I have, which today just means copy and paste, put it back into ChatGPT, let them fix the problem for me. But yeah, and that's basically it. All right. So I don't do login outside of that. That being said, though, there's some very specific login that I do for example, like my print server and thing, which is above and beyond this, and that goes into Cosmo DB, which is a whole lot of database by itself. But yeah, that's kind of like the layers that I have for login. But mostly I use, like I said, front end is all Sentry. Sentry is pretty good. Sentry is a very solid tool. They've made some changes on the UI right now that I don't really like, but it's pretty good. I do have PostHog, but I don't really use them that much. Not terrible. I'm not a fan of their interface. They're cool, great tool, fantastic people. Very generous with their pricing tier, and you can do C# integration where cases. It's if this is my personal opinion here, it's trying to do too much. It has front end login, back end login, integration login. Like it's just doing a lot, and my brain, I'm like, I get overwhelmed. So I'm like, I can't. I just want one tool for one specific thing, and then yeah, that means I'm spread across 100 different things. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, hopefully that kind of gives you. So, what else? Holy crap! It's almost 4 o'clock. Jeez, I've been talking for that long, eh? Just yapping away. So yeah, this is good, guys. I appreciate all the questions and things that you guys have. Let me see. Did I answer Founder IQ? You still around? Did I answer your question about the model? Right. This is what I would do for scaling. Okay. And like I said, now you can do 50,000 of this. So if you want to talk about a little bit more scale, like, can you get to 1 million users with this? Absolutely. Because what you would start doing is you would literally start making it granular. I'm just giving you an idea. I'm not saying to do this, okay? But you would basically spin up a database per user, right? Or you would spin up a database per region. So you would say, these people that are in the New York region, this is the database that I take. These people that are in the West US user, this. So that's how you would do. This is what just so you guys know, Canva is on this platform. I think there's a use case on it. Let me see. Canva use case. VA use case for D1. Okay. So Cloudflare D1. So helping Canva and Cloudflare together. Let me see if this is it. There's Cloudflare enables Canva to scale global operations. Yeah, there's a use case of how Canva is using this. I don't know if I could pull it up right away, but anyway, my point is that there's a very specific use case that Canva is using. See Cloudflare pages plus D1 advice. Yeah, I don't know where it is, but anyway, I do know that they are using it under the hood, and they're using it basically when they're doing like real-time type of stuff. Actually, it's not D1, sorry. It's their durable objects, which is a whole lot of conversation. Durable objects, which is for their real-time layer. Very, very scalable. But under the hood, durable objects is using D1. So this thing scales, okay? Like, I'm not telling you stuff that's not gonna scale, all right? Especially for their, like, because Canva, you can do a bunch of real-time type stuff. That's what they're using under the hood. Yeah. All right. So yeah, it's super interesting. It's one of those things that it's like durable objects is like it's a hidden gem that it's just it takes a while to wrap your brain around what to do with it, and as a result, because it's so different from what we know in traditional development, that it's like, oh, what would I do with this thing? But once you understand the capabilities of durable objects, it's like, man, this thing is golden. Okay, and to kind of keep the conversation simple, just think of it as a way to basically do real-time dashboards. That's the best way I could kind of describe it without going into too much details, just in the interest of time, right? But if you have two dashboards, right, sitting. So you have like dashboard 1, right? And then you have dashboard 2, okay? You can have a durable object, durable, okay? And then you could write from 1 to the durable object here, and whatever you write here would just automatically show on the other one in real time, okay? And you don't have to think about the scaling complexity, and this will scale to hundreds of millions of users. It's actually incredible. The simplicity of it is unbelievable. So with that, you could do some really, really cool stuff, and that's what Canva utilizes on the backend side. So but yeah, hopefully that helps you out, guys. This has been a pleasure as always. I appreciate every single one of you that show up to these lives just to hang out and just chat and and thing. And Founder IQ, I can save this and send it over to you if you're interested. That's perfectly fine. Or I could message you on TikTok and give it to you. That's fine. But for those who are new here or don't know who the hell I am, you could join my school community. It's free. There's no charge or any single thing. And look, we got 2 new members today. And it's just a place where we could just vibe code and learn about things together. HTTPS. Yeah, I'll send it over to you. Dwayne.me/skol. Okay. I'm not as active in there as I should be, but I got a bunch of stuff coming in. I actually want to, I'm going to launch my journey on all of the things that I've done in the last 20 years into like a 2-hour kind of like workshop guide kind of deal. So I'm working on that. It's a little bit slow right now, but I'm going to bring that because I really want to do 2 things at once. One is I want to fast track the business knowledge for you guys, and then I want to fast track the technical knowledge, so you don't have to spend time thinking about the details. You just basically execute, right? That's our goal around here. Execute, make money, and just like print money. All right. So yeah, my goal is if I could give you guys just one simple solution or solve one problem for you so that you don't have to go through the amount of pain that I did when I was building all this stuff, that's a win for me. And that's why I'm here. So with that, it's been a pleasure. You guys have yourself a wonderful weekend. I will see you guys next week again. I'm going to try to do these lives a little more frequently. I'm experimenting. I'm going to start experimenting with like doing like random late nights type of stuff when I put my kid to bed. But for now, every Friday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. With that, have yourself a wonderful day. Boop, boop, boop. Now I got to find all my damn end live stream thingy. Da, da, da.